And Dave Ryan on the call.
The Michigan Wolverines take the field at the Big House, Michigan Stadium. It's a showdown in one of the biggest rivalries in college football, the 102nd meeting between Ohio State and Michigan. Two teams on a collision course. ESPN College Football presented by Nokia. 9th ranked Ohio State, 17th ranked Michigan. They're playing their best football of the season, and for the 6th straight year, it's a game that has a direct impact on the Big Ten championship race. The Big Ten title chase concludes with 3 teams alive in the final weekend. If Penn State beats Michigan State later today, they'll win the conference crown and an automatic BCS berth. If the Nittany Lions should stumble, the winner of this game gets the BCS berth. Hi, everybody, with the coach, Bill Curry. I'm Gary Bender. Bill, what a special day this is.
It is the kind of game that every coach and every player will never forget for the rest of their lives.
Ohio State upset Michigan last year. They were 7th ranked. And quarterback Troy Smith for the Buckeyes had one of the top performances in this rivalry's history.
He really did. He burst onto the scene and shocked everybody by dominating the game, running and throwing. But Troy is no longer a surprise, Gary. He's ranked #1 in the Big Ten in passing efficiency and still the 2nd leading rusher on his team.
Now, the Buckeyes have the top-ranked defense in the Big Ten and arguably the best defender in the country, an All-American, A.J. Hawk.
A.J. Hawk is true to his namesake. He always gets his prey. On this great defense, he's the leading tackler, the leading sacker, and the leading tackler for a loss, Gary.
Well, Bill, as you know, this rivalry could come down to special teams, and Ohio State has an electrifying player in Ted Ginn Jr.
Yeah, Ted Ginn is so good. The other Big Ten players love to watch him play as long as he's playing against somebody else. They say he's just a skinnier Reggie Bush. I think that's true.
Well, Michigan feels that their quarterback, Chad Henne, eventually could be as fine a quarterback as they've had in school history.
Well, he's played less than 2 years, and he's already ranked #7 in the passing annals of this great program. But he's also very emotional as a leader, and he took last year's loss to Ohio State very personally. So he's going to have to be careful about his emotions early in this game and get some big plays out of his big play guy, Steve Breaston, the guy who had 201 yards in 1/2 last week against Indiana.
All right, we're ready to go, Coach. It's a great rivalry, and through the years, they've had some outstanding coaches involved in the showdown. A one-game season, as Woody Hayes and Bo Schembechler knew how big this is. The Buckeyes and Wolverines coming up next.
Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May with you in the studio. We're going to get you back to the Big House in just a second for the kickoff of Ohio State and Michigan. Mayday, this game turned last year, not only because of the great play of Troy Smith, but also in Ted Ginn Jr.'s 82-yard punt return. Ginn, Breaston, those are guys that could turn this game today?
I think so, and particularly for Ohio State, they have probably the best special teams without a doubt in the Big Ten, and led by Ted Ginn Jr. If you go back to 2 games this year and combine the two, Minnesota and Indiana, he returned a total of 390 yards just in the return game. And I think when you can have that as a return guy, not only touchdowns and scoring ability, it also gives you great field position.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt, but if you can run the football, you don't get a chance to use the return game. The team that runs the football the best will be the team that wins the football game. That's been historic in this case.
Yeah, Ohio State ran it well from the quarterback position with Troy Smith last year. We'll see if they can get a little bit out of Pittman. Ready for the Buckeyes and the Wolverines from Ann Arbor. Gary Bender will have the call for us. Gary?
Welcome back to the Big House, Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. Michigan is a 3-point underdog in today's game, but as Dave Ryan's going to explain, they embrace the pressure of playing top 10 ranked teams.
Well, Gary, I hope you can hear me in the middle of the Michigan marching band. They just marched off, and of course, what an atmosphere here at the Big House. We know one thing is certain, though, of this game. The two head coaches of this classic college football rivalry will be scrutinized. They will be analyzed for just about every move they make by just about every college football fan out there, and of course by us in the media. Let's start with Jim Tressel, who is 3-1 lifetime, of course, against Michigan. He tells us he's not that concerned about a big game like this because, hey, he's coached them before. He's been in 8 national championships, 6 at the 1AA level, 1 at Division II, and of course once for Ohio State to win a championship a couple years ago. As for Lloyd Carr of Michigan, He's had some trouble late. He's lost 3 of 4 against Ohio State, but tells us he's been in some big games too. He's 15-5 lifetime against top 10 teams. He's 3-0 against Ohio State here at the Big House. He's 8-0 against top 10 teams here at Michigan Stadium as well. He's told his team guys since spring football, do not ever consider yourself an underdog. Be ready for the big game. Gary, today, they're the underdog. We'll see how they respond.
And I imagine they'll respond well. As you just mentioned, they never consider themselves an underdog, and that just gives you an idea of the electricity here today. Here's the weather, and it's much better than yesterday. 48 degrees, a wind out of the south at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, it does swirl on this field, and Lloyd Carr was telling us yesterday it's very difficult to kick field goals. We have a perfect fall day, if you want to put it that way. Yesterday, we were wondering. It was 25 degrees through most of the afternoon. So over 110,000 people here in the Big House. And you can see in the last 50 meetings, I find this absolutely astounding, Bill. 24, 24, and 2.
I have never seen one quite that even for a half a century. Never.
And so Michigan has won the toss. They have deferred. Now, that was a big decision for Lloyd Carr. I asked him the meeting yesterday if he would do that. He was concerned because of the wind.
I liked his answer. He said, that's a very good question, which meant he had not made up his mind. He probably made up his mind 5 or 10 minutes ago with the swirling wind.
Ted Ginn, you see him backing up. Ross Ryan will kick off for Michigan, the senior out of Franklin, Michigan. The 102nd meeting is underway. And this one, line drive with the wind to the back, will make it into the end zone. And so, this Ohio State team with Troy Smith at the controls. Last year against Michigan, he was unbelievable. Amassed 386 yards of total offense. He can beat you in a lot of ways, especially with his legs.
He can do anything. He is leading the Big Ten in passing efficiency. I think that's the single most important improvement in his game.
From the 20, the first snap of the game. The Buckeyes will be going into this win. Antonio Pittman is the running back, and Pittman's going nowhere. And this Michigan defense ranked 4th in the Big Ten there. Let's take a look now offensively. Pittman, the man to carry the ball. Stan White, Marcel Frost, Antonio Holmes has 9 touchdown catches, and Gonzalez is a pre-law major, and he has been the glue to their offense. Up front, Rob Sims, TJ Downey, the veterans. Mangold, they feel, is the best offensive center in the country. And the lineups brought to you today by Olympia 4 men. So now it's going to be a second down coming up. 2nd and 14 yards to go. Smith rolling out. Throws up the field, incomplete at the 30-yard line. On that rollout, he tried to hit his receiver to the far side. Defending on the play was Behringer. Here is Woodley, their beast defensive player. Gabe Watson, all 330 pounds of him. Massey, a leader. Branch, they think, is going to be a great football player. Burgess, Harris, and Grant. Harris is tied for the leadership tackle-wise. Leon Hall and Grant Mason, outstanding quarterbacks. And Engelman, they feel, is a stabilizer back there. Behringer, just a moment ago, made the play. There is Woodley, the guy who can be as good as he wants to be. 3rd down now, 14 yards to go. Smith to throw. On time, Santonio Holmes makes the catch, 16 yards, and he has a first down. They needed 14, and Bill, they got 16.
And right off the bat, we see this beautiful touch pass, excellent protection. Troy Smith, that is not an easy throw. Into the wind, right on the money. Hit the 4, right where Santonio needed it.
Santonio Holmes had 9 touchdown catches this year, his 43rd grab of the year. So on a 3rd and 14, Smith gets it done. Comes out now with 3 wideouts in the gun. On the option to the near side. He pitches to Pittman. Check that. Ginn, flag on the play. Ginn reversing his field, and Ted Ginn brings it out close to the 40-yard line, a gain of 8. But a penalty flag holding against Ohio State.
Now, Gary, this one's going to be called back, but you just
just the flavor of what Ginn brings to the football game. You got 21 guys running one speed out there and one guy running another one. He looks like a road runner.
Big Ten crew in charge of this game. They indicate the hold. They picked up 8. That'll negate that option play, and they'll step it off. They'll move the ball back to the 21-yard line. So Ohio State had to dig out of a 3rd and 14. Now they got a 1st and 20. Ohio State has really been playing well offensively the last few weeks.
They have, and one of the biggest distinctions between these two teams is that Ohio State does such a great job of converting on 3rd down and then stopping people when they're on defense on 3rd down.
They have scored 40 or more points in the last 4 games. Here's Smith on a roll up the field. He completes it, and the catch is made this time by Ginn. Ginn, the electrifying sophomore. An 11-yard pickup on the play, and they're still going to be 9 yards short of the 1st down.
That's right, and what they'll try to do most likely is to get about half of this. What they did there is they halved the yardage. They got 11, so they got a little more than half. They got 2nd and 9. They get 6 or 7 here, and then they can go for the 1st down. And that's what makes this offense so dangerous. They move in chunks.
Troy Smith, the junior out of Cleveland. 11 and 2 as a starter. He hands off this time, and this is Pittman. Pittman over 1,000 yards this year, the 23rd Buckeye running back to accomplish that. And he just picked up a 1st down. They needed 9. He got 10 to the 43. Behringer made the tackle for the Michigan Wolverines.
Interesting thing down here, Tyree, number 96, is not a tight end. He is a great big 300-pound offensive lineman. Andre Tyree changes numbers, goes in for 3rd down situations, and that was they treated that as 3rd and short. It was like a 2nd and 9, and they ran for the 1st down.
Boy, you got to give Ohio State a lot of credit. They've had to dig themselves out of a couple of holes, and they've done it. 1st down, Holmes is split out on a 4-receiver set. Quick toss to Ted Ginn, and the speed takes over. And Ginn across the 45 to the 43. Dave Harris is there. 17-yard pickup. The flag back at the 41-yard line. And again, Bill, the speed of Ginn so apparent on that play.
It's just another dimension. Here's the call.
It's going to be against Michigan.
Yeah, usually when you see that flag come up from the sideline, it's going to be offsides against the defense. And not a good start for the Michigan defense. Some of his players were talking about the fact that Coach Carr kicked off or took the win, took the ball in Iowa and ended up having to kick into the wind, and Iowa scored first. I knew I could get that right. He did just the opposite today, and now they're having trouble on this drive getting them stopped.
1st down at the 42, and Smith trying to scramble forward, didn't get much on that play. Smith this year has scored 10 touchdowns rushing. I mean, he's averaged 4.5 yards a carry. I mean, he is the mobile quarterback that you're seeing so often now in college football.
He is the mobile quarterback, but the distinction again with him is that he's also the leading passing efficiency quarterback in the Big Ten Conference.
No gain on the play. Make it 9.5 yards to go. A 2nd down coming up. Ginn's put to the top. Gonzalez is in the slot. Holmes to the near side for Ohio State. Handoff, Pittman. Pittman to the 35, to the 30, and that's another 1st down. Behringer again on the stop. An 11-yard pickup on the play, and Behringer making a lot of tackles early, the senior out of Toledo, and they move the chains. They have it at the 30-yard line.
The big guy's back in, number 96, Andre Tyree is a lineman. Watch him come off this football. Boom, big. He's the key blocker, just drives his man down inside, and an excellent hold for the 1st down.
At the 30, Marcel Frost, Brandon Smith now. Double tight ends come in on this play. Smith on the delayed handoff to Pittman, and Pittman able to get across the 30 to about the 29. Dave Harris made the tackle. Pittman, the guy who has averaged 111 yards rushing each game. He's been a big, big bonus for Ohio State. It'll bring up 2nd down now, 9 yards to go. We're approaching 5 minutes on this drive, and there is Pittman. Pittman, the guy who we mentioned earlier, gaining a 1,000 yards. There hasn't been a lot of guys as sophomores to do that. Only Archie Griffin and Keith Byers in Ohio State history. Second down, 9 yards to go. Gonzalez split to the near side. Smith being flushed out, gets it to Pittman. Pittman to the 20 and grounded it short of the 20-yard line. Good reaction by Leon Hall, one of those quarterbacks we were talking about earlier. He's a junior out of Vista, California. And he is the guy who's one of the best cornerbacks they feel they've had in a long time at Michigan.
They feel like that he is the best player since Charles Woodson, according to the pro scouts. Now that's tall cotton, because Woodson was a Heisman Trophy winner, you'll recall, and did a little bit of everything around here.
This will be the 11th play of the drive. Third down, a yard to go from the 21. Smith with time, throws, he's got his man, that is Roy Hall. Hall makes the catch, he's got a first and goal at the 10. Brandon Engelman was over there to make the tackle. An 11-yard pickup on the play, and I am impressed with Troy Smith. He has engineered a very impressive drive thus far.
Well, he's getting a lot of help, and this is what makes an offense like Ohio State so hard to stop. They've essentially forced man coverage. You can line up in a zone, but when people are spread all over the field, there's no one in the backfield except Smith, and you have to cover the entire field. There's going to be somebody open, and he has a great knack of finding them.
Roy Hall with his 14th catch of the year, first and goal. Hand off Pittman left side, he's to the 5 to the 4. Pittman, a guy who worked so hard in the offseason, weightlifting, got stronger. Very tough guy. He'll hit it up there, and there's an example of it. Jamar Adams and Willis Behringer over to make the tackle.
We've pointed out that Andre Tyree comes in, number 96, and he's back in there now. Well, they just run him back off the field. He came in on first down, so they've got their big hog, run-at-you kind of offense, where they just knock it down the field with that big offensive line, and then suddenly they can spread it out all over the field as they're doing here, and you got an entirely different dimension to defend.
Second and goal, just inside the 5. Snap back to Smith. Smith fighting. He's in. Touchdown, Ohio State.
What we've just seen is a marvelous exhibition of offensive line play right down the field. Obviously, this is the quarterback on a planned quarterback off-tackle run, but that doesn't mean anything unless Kirk Barton and T.J. Downing and Nick Mangold and Ross Sims and Doug Daddish are handling that Michigan front. Great job of blocking the entire drive.
Josh Houston, who is 39 of 39 at PATs, does not get it. He missed it. What a huge miss. Early in the game, it went wide left. So Houston, who has been superb this year, misses a very important point after. And so Smith engineered a drive that had to dig itself out of a couple of holes. He was able to take it in from 5 yards out, and the Buckeyes with the lead.
The Denny's PBA Tour, Sunday at 1 on ESPN.
Men don't like to shave. It hurts. What with the stinging, the redness, the pain. They'd rather do other things like light their shorts on fire or eat dirt. Easy, fellas. Nivea soothes the pain of shaving. Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm has moisturizers and vitamins to soothe and actually improve your skin. Hey, look at you. Now that wasn't so bad. Nivea for Men, more evolved skincare.
Some beers have a full taste, but are too filling. Some beers are easy to drink, but don't satisfy. Then, there's Budweiser Select. Made from only the finest hand-picked American and Bavarian hops. Budweiser Select is brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Everybody has their something, but Budweiser Select has it all.
Perfect. There you go, honey.
Next time, use the new JVC Averio. No tapes or discs. It's the world's first hard drive camcorder.
Taco Bell's new Chipotle Grilled Stuffed Burrito. Loaded with carne asada steak, Chipotle seasoned rice, spicy Southwest Chipotle sauce, and 3 melted cheeses. All wrapped up and grilled to go. For the perfect balance of flavor and spice, think outside the bun.
Josh Houston, who just missed the point after the kickoff for Ohio State, who leads it 6-0. He kicks this into the wind, and he's been remarkable. That's his 46th touchback this year. Grant Mason has to go to a knee. What an impressive way to start this game. 13 plays, 80 yards, took 6 minutes and 16 seconds. And you can see Troy Smith getting most of it done. So Michigan will try to counter. They finally get a chance to get the football. This is Chad Henne. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards for the second year in a row. 44 career touchdown passes, started the last 22 games. And Bill, you mentioned he personally took on the responsibility for losing last year. He did not feel he played well. From the 20-yard line, Henne on a delayed handoff flag on the play as the handoff comes to Mike Hart. Hart, who has been hurt. He's had problems with a hamstring and an ankle, did not play last week, does get the starting call.
That's Carpenter going off, one of the star linebackers who looks like he's really hurting. Michigan came right out and lined up in an illegal formation. It's really hard to believe that you could work this hard. You've got to have 7 people on the line of scrimmage, and Michigan only had 6. Carpenter's up here at the top. He just gets hammered by the great Jake Long, the outstanding offensive tackle, and he must have fallen awkwardly on an ankle or a knee.
So the penalty makes it 1st and 15, back to the 15-yard line. We'll check the status of Carpenter. A trio of linebackers for Ohio State are exceptional. Here's Henne, quick pass to Preston. And Steve Preston able to negotiate the 20 and knock down there. Here's today's Nivea for Men's starting lineups. We mentioned Hart, Paul, an ex-defensive end, now fullback, Preston. Avant, who has 70 catches, and Massaquoi, who is an all-Big Ten player. Up front, they have Lenz and Stenovich, both all-conference performers. Bill mentioned Jake Long. He could be one of the best before it's all over in Michigan history. 2nd down now, and 10 yards to go. They get those yards back by penalty. Avant goes in motion to the top of the field. Henne back. Avant is there, makes the catch, gets about 3 on the play, and he's tackled immediately. And here is Patterson, Green, Pitcock, and Kudla. Kudla has really had a good year. Carpenter, we mentioned his injury. Schlegel, a former Air Force standout. A.J. Hawk, as good as there is in the country. And in the secondary, Yabodi is a junior. They feel he's going to be a great one. Sally, the quarterback. Whitner will hit you. And Tyler Everett is the guy as a senior starting. And there's A.J. Hawk. Aaron James Hawk out of Centerville, Ohio. He is something. He can run and he will hit you. 3rd down coming up, 6 yards to go. Hart is the running back behind Henne. Henne's got time, near side, and the catch is made. Manningham, Mario Manningham, who is a true freshman, caught it. 13-yard pickup on the play. This guy has been a big surprise. They were saying they don't think he knows how good he is.
I'll tell you, we know that Hart's a great runner. Lined up right here. Watch him pass protect. His coaches would rather talk about that than his running ability. He's a marvelous runner, but he's more valuable in protecting his quarterback. When he's out of there, they really miss his blocking. What a great job. What a good pickup on Dante Whitmer right there.
And you can see after that snap, both teams going after each other a little bit. Henne in a half roll, throw back to the near side, complete to Hart, the man you were talking about. Hart to the 50 and grounded there. Mike Hart, a sophomore, a guy who has great vision. And they say he always falls forward. He gets the tough yards after impact, and there's a 15-yard pickup on the play.
Oh, yeah, by the way, he's a good runner, too. The guy's a heck of a blocker. They say this guy is our best football player. Here's Carpenter leaving, limping. Not a good sign for the Buckeyes at all. They're going to have to take him in and take a look at it and be sure that he doesn't risk further injury. You just have to hope that it's minor.
Bobby Carpenter, the senior from Lancaster, Ohio, who was second of the Big Ten in sacks. There's a pass thrown behind. That was thrown behind and may have been a live ball as they pounce on it, and Michigan's going to come up with it. They're going to lose a yard or two back to the 48-yard line as Henney that time trying to swing it out. And Antonio Bass, who was a true freshman, the guy who was involved in the play, and they think Antonio Bass, Bill, eventually could be one of the great players in school history.
Lloyd Carr's words were really special, but he's also really young, and he wasn't ready for that football. It got on him too quickly.
Second down now, 14 yards to go. Hart in the backfield. In motion comes Avant. Henney gives to Hart. Hart bounces forward across the 50 to the 48-yard line. Marcus Green there to make the tackle. The senior out of Louisville, Kentucky. And let's go down to Rhino. Dave Ryan.
Oh, Gary, does not look good for a star linebacker. Bobby Carpenter, severely sprained right ankle. He is going to be evaluated and x-rayed right now in the Ohio State locker room, and I doubt highly he'll return. He came off, guys, right toward us and right by me in an incredible amount of pain. He looks like he's very much immobilized right now, Gary.
Boy, you want to play in this great rivalry so bad, and you get hurt in the first series.
Hate to see that for anybody.
Third down. 10 yards to go now for Michigan. Preston will come in motion to the near side. Henney is back. He's got time. He delivers. The catch is made by Manningham, and Manningham, again, that true freshman we talked about, got 11 yards, and that'll be enough for the first down. They only needed 10. So Manningham stepping up very big. He now has 22 catches on the year.
Gary, both these programs have learned that it's really important when you got somebody that's really gifted like a Manningham that you use them early. Number 86, Mario Manningham, is the guy who made the big touchdown catch against Penn State to win the game for Michigan with 1 second on the clock. So youngsters stepping up early.
There's 6 true freshmen playing on this Michigan team and playing big roles. Henney back, evades the rush, now going to take off. He's not known for his mobility, but able to buy some time, avoid the loss as he goes to the 37-yard line. Well, coming up later today, Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions are looking for Penn State's first Big Ten championship since 1994, the second year they were in the league. And it'll be their first ever BCS Bowl appearance. Only the Michigan State Spartans will stand in their way. College football presented by Nokia on ESPN today at 4 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Second down, 10 yards. Henney did a good job that time avoiding the loss. Got it back to the line of scrimmage. An end-around handoff coming to the near side to the 36. It's going to be Manningham again, and he is shut down. That's Brandon Mitchell, who made a very good open field tackle. Mitchell, one of the young players, they're very high on, a junior of Atlanta. So it's going to bring up third down and 9.
Ashton Yabodi is just an outstanding player. Up the field, in the backfield. More and more with these spread offenses, you're seeing secondary players that are penetrating, making plays, but then they move right back out into their normal coverage responsibilities.
Third down, 9 yards to go. Manningham put to the top of the field. Preston to the near side. Henney over the middle, and the catch is made inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Hey, man, there to make the tackle, and welcome to the Big House. Over 110,000 as we bring you the 102nd meeting between Ohio State and Michigan. With Dave Ryan and Bill Curry, I'm Gary Bender. Ohio State took the opening drive 80 yards, scored, missed the point after. Michigan now the big fourth down, Bill. A yard to go, and they're going for it.
Yeah, I think you make a statement to your team. Lloyd Carr's telling his team, we're not going to settle for field goals into this win. We're going to try to knock it in there and make the first down.
Hart is the running back. Henney now checking at the line of scrimmage. 3 wideouts on the play. He's going to throw on fourth down. Incomplete. Tried to hit Avant inside the 20. Interesting call on a 4th and 1.
I tell you, we talked about Henney being pumped and having the adrenaline. This is what I mean. He's got his receiver with a chance to catch it, but he puts a little bit too much juice on it, and so he turns the football over to Ohio State.
Ringtone. Do you want me to sing? Just a good old boys, never meaning no harm. Beats all you ever saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. I love it. That's my theme song.
And I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do anything for love. I would do anything for love. But I won't do that. No, 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 I won't do that. I would do anything for love. Anything you
Fall in love with the rich, bold flavor, Dr. Pepper. One taste, and you get it.
Seize the digital day. Computer enhanced, satellite linked, Acura, always advancing.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Nokia. It's more than just a phone, it's your life in there. Nokia. And in part by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
So Ohio State able to hold on a 4th and 1 when Henne tried to rear up and make the slant work. It did not. And the Buckeyes with a 6-0 lead inherit the football at the 27-yard line. Smith back to throw over the middle. And he hits Marcel Frost, his tight end. They don't throw to their tight ends all that much. Frost only with his 4th catch of the year. And they are able to get the football to the 34 to bring up 2nd and 4.
Just really interesting to watch Smith read his progressions and to see how sophisticated he is as opposed to what he was early in this season when they did not get the ball in the end zone on 5 occasions against Texas, and he's just improved drastically.
Last time he took this team 80 yards, 6 minutes and 16 seconds. 2nd down, 4 now. And a handoff to Pittman. Pittman trying to get outside. Michigan responding, but Pittman did avoid the first guy, Grant Mason, the cornerback, eventually able to knock him out of bounds. His forward progress will be out to the 37, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and still about 1.5 yards to go.
Well, we raved about Andre Tyree's blocking, number 96, the big offensive lineman who switches numbers and puts on a tight end number. That time, the real tight end, Marcel Frost, who just caught the pass on 1st down, did a great job of blocking on Alan Branch, number 80 for Michigan, and got the room. They're really working the edges, Gary. They're running off tackle with great success against this Michigan defense.
They come out with a trips formation near side. 3rd down and 1 yard to go. Gonzalez is in the slot. The snap to Smith. Troy Smith the throw, completes it again in the open field, and he's got the 1st down. Dave Harris over to make the tackle. Dave Harris, a guy who's really come on this year. According to Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, he's become the linebacker we thought he would be, but it's a 1st down catch.
Michigan's going to have to go to their pressure package. Coach Jim Herman's going to have to do something to get some pressure on this Troy Smith playing quarterback for Ohio State, because the front 4 is just being stoned at the line of scrimmage by the Ohio State offensive line.
Troy Smith, as you mentioned earlier, number 1 of the Big Ten in pass efficiency, and also, of course, able to run very well. Quick pass near side, complete to Gonzalez, and Gonzalez able to get across the 50-yard line. And let's go back to that last drive.
Well, Ohio State does a fantastic job of 3rd down conversions. They're the best in the Big Ten with over 48% on 3rd down and converting to the 1st down. And you see a variety of plays here that are being called. The last one there, Antonio Pittman down on the draw. Great throw by Troy Smith to Ray Hall, and then the run off tackle by Troy Smith for the touchdown, and they just got so much variety in their arsenal.
Second down, 2 yards to go. Holmes is split to the top of the field. Handoff to Pittman, and Pittman very close to the first down. He needed to get to the 46. Alan Branch, who Michigan feels is going to be a great football player out of Albuquerque, and there to make the stop. Let's see where they mark it. It's going to be very close if, in fact, it's not a first down. Officials now place the ball, and they're going to measure. So while they measure, let's go down to Dave Ryan. Dave?
Well, Gary, all week, Troy Smith, the great quarterback of Ohio State, talked about the importance of that good start for the Buckeyes, that first drive where they're able to cash in, get the touchdown, and take the 6-0 lead. Keep in mind that last year at Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoe, Troy Smith threw a touchdown pass on the first drive that gave the Buckeyes a lot of momentum. Here on the Ohio State sideline right now, you can really feel it. Despite the loss of their great linebacker, Bobby Carpenter, a lot of energy on this Buckeye sideline.
Thank you, Rhino. The measurement indicating it is a first down.
Lloyd Carr was very pointed in his comments to us yesterday about, we both want to get ahead in this game. Here's Ohio State back in Michigan territory, a first down inside the 50-yard line against a good offense that converts so many third downs the way Ohio State does. This Michigan's defense desperately needs a stop here early in the game.
Troy Smith will now have a new series. They'll mark it at the 46. He has Pittman now split to the near side. 3 receivers to the top of the field. Smith over the middle, and Santonio Holmes makes the catch at the 40-yard line, and they're just chewing up real estate. Preston Burgess over to make the tackle. Burgess, the junior out of Warren, Ohio. They'll mark it on top of the 40 to bring up second down, 4 yards to go.
We're just not accustomed to see somebody play quarterback that's fleet of foot, who is also uncanny in his accuracy. What we see is Smith just continues to hit people in exactly the right place, leads them away from the tacklers. He's now 9 out of 10 for 88 yards.
And they're not going to get this one snapped in time. That's going to be the end of the first quarter. Dominated by Ohio State. Ohio State moving 80 yards to take a 6-0 lead, missing the point after, but thus far, it's all Buckeyes.
Okay. What time will I see you?
I'll pick up at 8.
If it's possible, it's now possible in a car. Acura, always advancing.
We had a merry time pillaging. But with so many people switching to Capital One, we've had to find new jobs. All we want for Christmas is our dignity.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One. Check your mailbox.
What's in your wallet? I'm making a list.
Make a DVD today. Surround yourself in the magic forever. The Sony DVD 403 Handycam camcorder lets you record in Dolby Digital 5.1 channel surround sound. Learn more at sony.com/DVD Handycam. Spread the joy.
Like no other. Sony.
Built strong. Built comfortable. Built right. Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. Your life, your car, connected. The Acura TSX.
We go to quarter number 2 here at the Big House. Ohio State in that first quarter had the ball 9 minutes and 17 seconds, 134 yards to Michigan's 56. And thus far, to me, Bill, I'm surprised by Troy Smith. I knew he could run, but I didn't realize that he's as good a pocket passer as he's been today.
He's just sensational, as in 90%. And of course, we said at the very top, he leads the Big Ten in passing efficiency. Maybe we didn't believe his numbers. Now we do.
So it's going to be 2nd and 4 now for the Buckeyes. They missed their point after driving 80 yards in the opening series of the game. Handoff to Pittman. Pittman bounces it to the 35. Nice stop-start move as he gets to the 35, very close to the first down. Let's see if they're going to give it to him, and they will. First down for the Buckeyes. Pittman, the sophomore out of Akron. When he gets the ball, Jim Tressel says, he makes things happen. And there is Bobby Carpenter. Boy, I'm sorry to see that. The senior out of Lancaster. His daddy, of course, Rob, played for so many years in the NFL for the Giants, a high school coach. And you imagine what's going through his mind right now.
Well, he's just sick. I mean, the guy's a great player. He's a guy that comes off the edge and sacks quarterbacks, and he's not getting to play. It's a shame.
First down now at the 35. Smith near side, and Pittman tried to go up, could not get up high enough, as that was defended very nicely that time by Morgan Tran. And here is the Nampa Auto Care game track. As you can see, Troy Smith taking it in from 4 yards out, and then on 4th down and 1, and he tried to hit Avant, could not. Interesting call on a 4th and 1. And as you mentioned, Bill, Henne really with the adrenaline flowing right now, had too much on it. So now it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 for the 35. Smith with 2 receivers out. Holmes to the near side. He looks to Holmes' way. Now scrambling out of the pocket, and he's able to get across the 35 to the 33. Pat Massey, the senior out of Brecksville, Ohio, over to make the tackle. And there is what really concerned Lloyd Carr, was keeping him from hurting him with the legs. You can see what an excellent runner Smith is.
But what Ohio State does is they max protect. They keep a maximum number of protectors in their backfield, and then they have a 2-man route. That time it was covered extremely well by the zone of Michigan, and then he hits a crease and very often hurts you with the run, but not that time. Now it's 3rd and 9, and needless to say, a very big down for the Michigan defense.
Holmes split out. Again is split out to the top of the field. Gonzalez comes in motion. Smith, play action, and he tried to connect with his tight end. He did, Marcel Frost, but it's going to be considerably short of the first down. Dave Harris with a big hit, and it's going to bring up 4th down. They're going to mark the ball at the 30-yard line.
Jim Tressell's got a big decision to make here. I think he didn't wrestle with it very long. He sent that kicker out there because he's done such a great job of kicking the ball for him. Josh Houston, 18 out of 21.
He leads the Big Ten in kick scoring, Bill.
With the win.
This will be a 47-yard attempt. That would tie his career high if he's able to hit it. Houston's kick is on the way, and the kick is good. So after missing the point after earlier, he ties his career long with a 47-yarder.
Sunday. If you live for football, you'll love the NFL on ESPN. At 11 a.m., Sunday NFL Countdown. Then at 8:30, Larry Johnson and the Chiefs aim to make a run to the top of the AFC West against the Texans. ESPN College Game Day, Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern.
Ruby Tuesday's famous Ultimate Colossal Burger. It's the only burger around that comes with a pound of beef, 2 kinds of cheeses, and a support beam. One of 36 famous burgers, only at Ruby Tuesday. So good.
Excuse me, do you believe your brokerage firm's advice is objective?
Sure. Their objective is to sell me something.
Well, he only calls me when he's got something to sell.
I made it my objective to do my own investing. So I switched to TD Waterhouse. Best move I ever made.
TD Waterhouse brings together free, independent research and third-party reports so you can make your own objective decisions. You can do this. Switch today to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers.
Saw Woody Hayes in those shirt sleeves. It didn't matter if it was 10 below zero. He was going to be out in his shirt sleeve. Kickoff now by Houston, who just booted the 47-yard field goal. And there is no return. They'll bring it out at the 20. So Ohio State off the mark, leading 9-0.
The EA Sports Maui Invitational begins Monday at 2:30 on ESPN2.
As long as you're alive, why not reach for a beer that lets you drink it all in? Beck's Premier Light, real German beer with only 64 calories. Life beckons, and you're holding the key.
From the dawn of civilization, this has been the essential tool used to suggest the proper direction one should travel. Centuries later, it remains the superior tool. Presenting Street Pilot from Garmin.
Turn right on Highway 134. Continue southeast to destination.
Garmin, the leader in navigation. We'll take you there.
Do Nikon people take better vacations? Or does the Nikon D50 just make it look that way? The digital SLR the world's been waiting for is here. The affordable new Nikon D50 makes taking incredible digital pictures so incredibly easy. Just about anyone can do it.
From C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece.
Impossible.
On December 9th, when good and evil collide. Take them. The greatest adventure of all begins.
Hang on.
The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Rated PG. Directed by Andrew Adamson.
Michigan trying to get it going offensively. They'll take this drive from the 20-yard line, down 9-0. 12 minutes, 49 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Chad Henne will send in motion Manningham. Back to throw is Henne. Henne completes it. The catch is made by Antonio Bass, the freshman sensation. He takes it to the 25, and let's go to Dave Ryan with one of the 6 Heisman Trophy winners at Ohio State.
That's right, Gary. 1995 Heisman Trophy winner Eddie George. Now, you said you were 1-2-1 against Michigan in your career.
That's right.
That doesn't probably sit too well with you. What is it like to play in this big game, Eddie?
I mean, it's huge. I mean, words can't describe the magnitude of this game, regardless of what your record is coming in. It's a history. It's bad blood. It's a huge rivalry, and really, words can't describe it, man. It's not a game. It's a war.
Does it compare to playing in a Super Bowl or the big NFL games you've been in?
Absolutely. I told the guys in there before we came out, I said in all the games that I played in, I played in the Super Bowl, I played some big-time playoff games, some meaningful games, but this one definitely ranks up there as the best game to play in terms of hype, in terms of what's on the line, bragging rights, and leaving a legacy.
Thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
Eddie George, one happy Buckeye fan down here, Gary.
All right, they should be leading 9-0. Here now is a 3rd and a yard to go for Michigan. Hard in the backfield. He's got the ball. He stays on his feet, and I don't know if he got it.
I don't think he did. I'll tell you, this Ohio State football team is in charge of this game. They're going to give him the first down on forward progress. All right, nice running by Hart because there was nothing there. He was hit in the backfield, penetration in the backfield by Quinn Pitcock, number 90. Great job again by the Ohio State defense, getting them stopped almost short of the first down. And they are in charge of this game right now.
I tell you, that was a tough, gutsy run by Mike Hart to pick up the first down at the 30-yard line. Two receivers near side. Henne gives off now to Hart. Hart going to be knocked down, and I tell you, this Ohio State defense, number 1 in the Big Ten, almost in every category, responding well that time. It was David Patterson, a junior out of Warrensville Heights, Ohio, who made the tackle.
Gary, out of the 8 defensive categories that are most important, they lead the league in 7. They're second in the other one, which is passing efficiency on defense. Penn State is number 1. They're number 2 in that, but they're at the top of the heap in every other important category on defense.
Gain of 2, 2nd and 8 now for the Wolverines. Preston comes in motion. Henne back to throw. Chad being flushed out. Flag on the play. Comes running up to the 30, gets out of bounds. We may have a hold against Michigan where that flag was thrown. That's what it's going to be. There were 2 flags. David Patterson was the guy putting the pressure on Henne and caused all those problems. Well, Ohio State arguably 2 plays away from an undefeated season. Here is the Longhorns with Vince Young hitting Lima Swede on a pass to beat Ohio State 25-22. And then at Penn State, Calvin Lowry picked up a Troy Smith pass in the second quarter, returned it to the 2-yard line. Michael Robinson then had a touchdown dive, and Penn State won it 17-10. That shows you how close they have been this year. Going to mark the ball now at the 22-yard line. Ohio State coming in, ranked 9th in the country, 7th in the BCS standings. Second down, 18 yards to go after the hold. Manningham comes in motion, handoff to Hart, and I tell you, Ohio State is punishing Hart. Hart is really getting a crowd around the ball. Sunday night, the Chiefs need a win to keep pace in a tough AFC West race. They take on the Houston Texans, a team looking for an upset. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern when NFL Prime Time, presented by Miller Lite. Chiefs versus the Texans, also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Call your cable operator or satellite provider today. The Chiefs at 5-4 now without Priest Holmes, beaten up a little bit. Dangerous game as they tangle the Texans. Back to throw now, Henne. Screen and read beautifully by A.J. Hawk. Hawk was there instantaneously. He was absolutely there as quickly as the ball, as Hart had no chance of the play.
3rd down and 15. This great Ohio State defense gives up first downs very sparingly. 27.6% of the time opponents are able to convert. That's number 1 in the Big Ten and one of the better numbers I've seen in defensive football in recent years. Almost impossible to make a first down on 3rd and 15, and certainly nothing there that time.
And so to punt away will be Russ Ryan. Hawk, a finalist for the Lombardi, as well as the Butkus Award. You can see how fast he can run, and he can really hit you. Ted Ginn and Santonio Holmes back. Ryan's punt into the wind. It's going to be gathered in by Holmes. Holmes giving ground, and that was a mistake. He'll be drilled back at the 40-yard line. Excellent coverage that time by Mike Massey. And so A.J. Hawk showing why many people feel he's the best defender in the country.
As long as you're alive, why not reach for a beer that lets you drink it all in? Beck's Premier Light, real German beer with only 64 calories. Life beckons, and you're holding the key.
Lord Vader, rise. Star Wars is reborn at BK in the form of 6 collectible hologram watches. Only $1.99 each when you buy any value meal. Star Wars Episode 3. Own it on DVD now.
Classics. 24/7. Anytime.
For all my looks. On the way to the match.
Con mis amigos.
Classics with my chords.
When it's cold, eh?
With my vest.
When it's warm.
K-Swiss Classics. Year-round. K-Swiss.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by K-Swiss and Nivea for Men. More evolved skincare.
Gorgeous day for football. This 102nd meeting between Ohio State and Michigan. 34-yard punt, 6-yard return. Sets it up for the Buckeyes, who lead it 9-0 at the 40-yard line. Maurice Wells, a true freshman in the backfield. This is Wells, he fumbled the ball, and Michigan's got it. The freshman in his first exchange of the day, and Gabe Watson, the nose tackle, there to pounce on it. And all of a sudden now, Michigan, who's not been able to move the ball, has excellent field position at the 36-yard line.
Big Gabe Watson, number 78, who's made a remarkable recovery from a weight problem, gotten himself in shape. Coaches are very pleased with him because he had very little endurance earlier in the year. Now he's playing with great intensity, and he knocked that one loose and came up with it.
And Wells must feel terrible, the true freshman who came in to give Pittman a break. And all of a sudden, he turns it over, and Michigan now sensing a chance.
They might put it up right here, Gary. And he's checking off.
They have a trips formation, top of the field. Running back is Hart again behind Henne. Chad Henne back to throw the sophomore. You called it, Coach. Going for it all. There's some bodies falling everywhere. No flag on the play. The intended receiver was Manningham. It was also Bass back there, as Michigan able to get back on the play, and it's incomplete.
Well, I think there was some confusion between two young receivers, Manningham and Bass. Two very young receivers, freshmen, were running stride for stride beside each other, so that naturally brought the two defenders, and the ball was sort of thrown up for grabs. I thought it was an intelligent play call, and yet a mistake by the route runners, the two youngsters running along side by side. Somebody made a big mistake on the route.
You had it called all the way. Avon to the near side. Manningham goes in motion. Second down, 10. Henne completes this one just short of the 30-yard line to the 31. It'll bring up a third down now for Michigan, trying to capitalize on the turnover just a moment ago by Wells, a true freshman who coughed it up. And so at the 31, it'll bring up now third down and still 5 yards to go.
Still working against this defense that gives up about a quarter of the time they allow a first down when somebody's got third down. And this is I keep saying this, but Michigan is starting out behind in desperate situations again and again.
Hard in the backfield, three wideouts. Henne now checking at the line of scrimmage. He sends Preston in motion to the near side. Henne back, and he completes it to Preston. That'll be a first down at the 25. Preston has been hurt so much this year. He's healthy, he's dangerous. Let's go to Dave Ryan.
Gary, we saw Bobby Carpenter, the star linebacker of Ohio State, leave the game in such pain after the first play from scrimmage. He's back out here now on the sidelines on crutches. Trainers tell us a cracked right fibula. Certainly done for this game. Certainly done. It appears for their bowl game as well. And Les has a miraculous recovery. Just terrible news for Ohio State.
Oh, it is, Rhino. Thanks. Here's a handoff now to Hart. And Hart on the first down inside the 25 to the 24. So Michigan, again, inheriting this football after the turnover, trying to get on the scoreboard. 7:19 to go in this first half. They trail 9-0. Third down coming up. Make that about 9 yards to go. as they will have the ball at the 24-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 9 yards to go.
Yeah, the marker on the sideline was incorrect. It said 3rd down, but it is 2nd down. I'll tell you, Hart doesn't look right to me. The coaches said he's not 100%. I don't think he is. He's blocking extremely well, but he's not running with the same authority that he normally does.
We may see a true freshman by the name of Kevin Grady before the day's over, and he's something special. 2nd down and 9. Preston comes in motion, near side blitz. They pick it up. Henning got time. Now buying time. Preston makes the catch and steps out of bounds at the 19. They picked up the blitz beautifully on that play, and they gave Henning the time he needed to pick up some yardage.
Really nice job. Mark Beal, the center, number 54, stepping in for Kraus, the normal starter, and all along the line, good protection, and quite a surprising mistake by a veteran like Preston to step out of bounds, not knowing where the sideline is. He could have easily taken that thing down another 5 or 10 yards for the 1st down.
3rd down, 4 yards to go. Line of scrimmage, the 19-yard line. Preston will go in motion. Henning looking his way. It's Preston. He's got it. 15. He's got a 1st down as he's knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Now, what are we seeing from Henning, Gary? Early we saw some overthrows, all I know is to call them is adrenaline throws, kind of like Brett Favre, where he was pumped, too much emotion. Now you're seeing that precision passing that has made him the 7th-ranked passer in the history of Michigan football in less than 2 years, and he must play like this to get his team in the end zone and give him a chance in this game.
You see he's completed 12 of 14. It's 1st down now at the 14-yard line. Manningham will come in motion, comes set. Henning's going to throw it to him. Manningham makes the catch at the 15 to the 10. He's going to be knocked out of bounds near the 5. Beautiful move by the true freshman. And let's go to the studio, and here's Reese Davis.
All right, Gary, Virginia Tech, the game you were watching prior to the start of the Ohio State-Michigan game. Cavaliers trying to come back. Wally Lundy going in for the touchdown. It's 24-7. Want to keep an eye on that game? ESPN Game Plan online, free of charge right now. It's 24-7 in the 3rd.
All right, the Hokies are rolling, Reese, and right now so is Michigan. 2nd down coming up, 2 yards to go. They can get a 1st and goal at about the 4-yard line. Hart in the backfield. Massaquoi, the tight end. Preston will come in motion, come set. Henning gives to Hart. Hart spins his way close to the 5, and he's shut down there. It's going to be about a yard short of a 1st and goal. Kudla, Mike Kudla there to make the tackle. Kudla's really come on this year, the senior out of Medina, Ohio. So it's going to be 3rd down and a yard to go.
Number 94, Marcus Green, was in the backfield. Ohio State, with their penetration, showing why they are a great defense, immediately disrupted the football play and caused Hart to run into Kudla.
3rd down and a yard. Avant split to the top of the field. Preston in the slot will come in motion to the near side. Henning looking and cannot connect with Avant, and then there's a flag. We may have pass interference. Ohio State is upset. Dante Whitner and Nate Sally in the vicinity of the football.
Now I got to ask you a question. Bo Schembechler's around here somewhere, Gary, watching the football game. 3rd and 1, and they're throwing slants. 4th and 1, they're throwing slants. Do you think Bo might just be going a little bit teeth grinding mode?
Well, he grinds his teeth anyway, but I tell you what, the penalty's going to give him a 1st and goal at the 2. So you're right, a 4th and 1, a 3rd and 1. They go to the airways. It was Ashton Yapoti who was guilty of the interference.
Yeah, Yapoti missed a tackle on the previous play, and so he's not having a good series.
Avant split to the top of the field. Hart is the single running back. Henning, Avant, he dives. Is he in? Touchdown, Michigan. Beautiful catch.
Jason Avant is the go-to guy. They love him in scoring territory, and you can see why. He got that foot down. Great concentration on another beautiful touch pass from Chad Henning.
And so Michigan able to convert the turnover, point after attempt on the way. And by Rivas, Garrett Rivas. It's now 9-7. Michigan has cut it to 2.
You guys have to try this.
Friday nights with my best friends. We have one rule. Everyone orders something different.
Now at Olive Garden, new smoked mozzarella chicken, sautéed and topped with melted mozzarella and a sauce of 4 Italian cheeses. At Olive Garden.
Here's to performance that exceeds expectations. Evergreen Investments.
To keep food fresh, you have to take air out. Otherwise, your efforts are just going to waste. That's why you need the new FoodSaver Advanced Design Home Vacuum Packaging System. It eliminates freezer burn once and for all and keeps your favorite foods like meats, fruits, vegetables, and cheese fresh up to 5 times longer. The new FoodSaver Advanced Design appliance is the only one with a crush-free instant seal to protect delicate foods. So stop wasting time, money, and effort and get the essential kitchen appliance found in over 7 million homes. The FoodSaver Advanced Design System is available wherever small kitchen appliances are sold, but you can only get this special offer through TV. Call now and get everything you see here for just 3 easy payments of $43.33. You get a 60-day risk-free money-back guarantee, plus these 2 special bonuses, and $100 in coupons good toward FoodSaver bags and accessories. Altogether a $260 value for just 3 payments of $43.33. Order now.
So all of a sudden, the turnover has turned this game around. Early it was Troy Smith who was able to take it in, and then Avant with the touchdown catch, his 8th of the season, and we have a 2-point game as we come back at the 5:18 mark of this game. Ross Ryan will kick off. Ted Ginn is back deep along with Santonio Holmes. So all of a sudden, new life for the Wolverines, and he kicks this into the wind very well. Ginn goes back, he'll go to a knee. And Ohio State to the 20 and back to the studio. Here's Reese Davis.
All right, Gary, twice Georgia has failed when it had an opportunity to lock up a spot in the SEC championship game. It already up 14-3 against Kentucky. Danny Ware, 52 yards, and it looks as if Danny will be able to run all the way to Atlanta. 24-3, Dogs on top of the Cats.
52 yards. Earlier, Rich Brooks would be back as coach at Kentucky. And now at the 20-yard line, Ohio State will come out with Pittman back in there after Wells fumbled the ball. I would imagine Jim Tressel will be reluctant to play him. Here is Smith back to throw. Wide open is Gonzalez. Anthony Gonzalez spin move. He's got the first down to the 35, 14-yard pickup. Well, before the day is over, we'll know who will get the BCS berth, and Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions are looking for Penn State's first Big Ten championship since '94. Only the Michigan State Spartans stand in their way. College football presented by Nokia on ESPN today at 4 Eastern. Penn State receives the bid with a win. And then the Ohio State-Michigan game, if Penn State should stumble, they, the winner of this game, would get the BCS berth. First down now at the 34. Handoff goes to Pittman, and Pittman able to negotiate the 35 to the 37. Lamar Woodley, the best defensive player for this Michigan team, who's been slow this year with an arm bruise. He's going to come out of the ball game now.
Gary, you said it so well. That turnover has changed the whole tenor of this game. Ohio State was in utter control of it in every way. And now Michigan's life has come back in their legs. They're bouncing around. The defense is playing with more enthusiasm. The offense capitalized. And we got a football game, and that extra point miss is looming larger with every minute.
That was my next point. I think you're right. That could come back yet to be huge in this game. Here's Smith on a play action, rolling out. He's going to run with it. He gets to the 40, 45, and look at the quickness. Smith has really impressed me, the junior out of Cleveland, Glenville High School. He played for Ted Ginn Jr.'s dad, and a guy who was suspended for the first game this year, as well as a bowl game, and has come on now, and he's 11-2 as a starter for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that time Morgan Trent left a part of his equipment on the field. He's going to have to go pick up his job because Troy Smith just faked him out of it. That's the 5th missed tackle by Michigan. You just can't miss tackles in the open field against these guys.
First down now for the Buckeyes at the 46-yard line. Pittman again in the backfield. 2 receivers split to the near side. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Pittman again, this time tough sledding, maybe got a yard. Dave Harris was there to make the tackle. Well, last year, Troy Smith was spectacular in this game. Ran for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Threw for 241 yards and 2 touchdowns as they upset 7th-ranked Michigan 37-21. One of the great individual efforts in the history of this rivalry.
Well, he's a great player. He's established that. And now these are the kinds of games when great players play against other great players and somebody prevails who has a little more concentration.
Gain of a yard on the last play, 2nd down and 9. Smith wanting to throw. Up the middle and dropped. It was dropped by Ted Ginn. He had a big catch inside the 35-yard line. Ginn, the game breaker, could have really been dangerous had he caught that. Graham and Behringer on the play.
These are the plays that are remembered for a lifetime. You got the number 1 guy who's supposed to be the game breaker. The protection's perfect, the throw is perfect, and Ted Ginn in a nice zone coverage. There's nobody there to earhole him, and he doesn't show fear anyhow. He just simply did not concentrate on the football.
Ginn was an outstanding defensive player in high school. They were using him both ways, moved him to the offensive side. Holmes split to the near side on a 3rd and 9. Smith being flushed out of the pocket. Throws it, and a remarkable throw and catch. Ginn made the catch at the 30. It looked like there was nothing going to happen on the play. A 23-yard gain, and down on the play is a All-American candidate, the center, Nick Mangold, one of the best in the country. And he is down back at the 40-yard line. Bill, this was a remarkable throw by Troy Smith.
It was a remarkable throw, but he had 6 seconds to stand back there. You just cannot emphasize enough how important this offensive line has been as we see Mango being led off. 9-7, Buckeyes.
We don't just play for West Point. We play for the American people.
They work us till we drop, and then I'm supposed to go back to the dorm and study so I can maybe pass the physics exam.
You gotta stop playing these exams the way you play football. Teamwork, that's cheating.
Sir, I believe the honor committee has been compromised.
The code is not about winning. It's about the truth.
Are you hungry for victory?
Yes, sir!
Code Breakers, Saturday, December 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Presented by Kay Jewelers.
With a Canon PowerShot digital camera, you can make a powerful statement.
Make every shot a power shot.
Complete the picture and bring your photos to life with the Selfie Compact Photo Printer.
Dad, you know how you like to be everywhere I am? Now you can be.
With Family Talk from Singular. Add a line for just $9.99. Plus, buy one Samsung Color Flip phone and get a second free. Singular, raising the bar.
Ohio State has already lost a linebacker. Now their All-American candidate, Nick Mangold, goes down, and they're going to have to make some adjustments. Doug Daddish will move to center. Alex Boone, the true freshman, now takes over at left tackle for Ohio State. First down after a remarkable throw and catch. Smith is back to throw, scrambling up to the 30, and is going to be bulldogged down at the 27-yard line. And Mangold is coming right back in, the senior out of Centerville.
Oh, you know about centers, Gary. They're the toughest guys on the team. They're the smartest guys on the team. And Jim Tressel was very open. He said, this guy is the best center in college football. So when Jim Tressel said, he is not a guy that's given to lavish praise.
Well, Glenn Mason of Minnesota might have an argument.
I think he would. Esslinger's a pretty good player himself. So we got some good centers this year.
Mangold back in. And that's good news for Ohio State, as they now will have a second down, 6 yards to go. Pittman, the running back, 2 wideouts. Hand off to Pittman. Nice stop start. 25, 20, 15. He's going to fight his way to the 11-yard line. Nifty run that time. Behringer over to make the tackle. 15-yard pickup on the play, and Ohio State now at the 2:11 mark has a first down at the 12.
Gary, the key block, Mangold slides off the nose man, locks up his guy, drives him into the ground, and that's a good football player. That's Dave Harris, one of the leading tacklers on this football team, knocked him on the ground, a decleater for the long run by Pittman.
He's back in, and the result was excellent. First down now at the 12. Pittman in the backfield, 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side. A minute 52 left in the first half. Smith wanting to throw, now going to scramble and bounces to the 10. Excellent, resourceful run. Leon Hall eventually over to make the tackle. Hall, our number 4 tackler, the junior, over to make the stop. It'll bring up a second down.
I'm going to keep saying this because it's so difficult to do against Michigan, but Ohio State has got near perfect pass protection. Now, he doesn't use it this time. Smith does not have anybody open because he's only got 2 receivers out, and they're well covered. But that's when he tries to hit the crease and run for first downs or touchdowns. That time, well defensed by Michigan.
Second down and 6. Ohio State has all 3 of their timeouts left. Holmes to the top of the field. Smith, option, pitches back to Pittman. Pittman's grounded. Excellent reaction that time by Michigan, particularly Prescott Burgess, the junior, who can really run from that linebacking spot, and he was there and he read it. It's third down and still about 6 yards to go. And now we have a man down on the field for Michigan. We've had Bobby Carpenter knocked out for the game. Mangold was shaken up earlier. And this is Burgess, the guy who made the tackle, hurt for the Wolverines.
Sometimes you come up and you make a hit like that, and you sort of get crunched because your guys come in after you, and they hit you along with the ball carrier. So you just have to hope that it's something minor, maybe knock the wind out of him. But I'm going to tell you that this football field, Gary, is no place for the faint of heart today. There's some real deal hitting going on down there.
All right, we got a break. Let's go back to studio. Reese, take it away.
All right, Gary, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, Lou and Mark alongside as always. We'll check in on what's turned into a pig party or a gopher roast. The Dogs are dominant, and the Lions and the Spartans, Nittany Lions trying to wrap up the Big Ten.
And just when you think things couldn't get any worse for Tennessee, along comes Vanderbilt.
I'll tell you about the Hokies and how they rebound after their big loss against Miami a few weeks ago.
You blinked, Mayday. The Hokies just scored again. It is getting ugly in Charlottesville right now.
Hey guys, thanks. We'll look forward to being with you at the halftime as Burgess comes off the field. Third down, 6 yards to go. Ohio State up by 2. 40 seconds left now in the half. Again, the Buckeyes have all 3 timeouts left. Smith quickly into the end zone, incomplete. Tried to connect over the middle that time. It was Anthony Gonzalez. Gonzalez, the sophomore, tried to come up with it. That'll stop the clock with 28 seconds. And 4th down, and here comes Houston.
Yeah, this time they did not have max protection. They were spread all over the field. Nobody in the backfield, empty backfield. Sean Crable, number 2, comes clean, and a nice hit. Good clean hit, forces the errant throw, and now the field goal attempt.
This will be a 25-yard attempt. Houston earlier with a career tying 47-yarder.
Tough angle for a right-footed kicker.
And Houston's kick, he punches it through, and Ohio State, after having their lead cut to 2, now able to add 3, and they're up 12-7, 23 seconds left in the half.
students move on, but the spirit stays with them.
What a setting, the Big House in Ann Arbor, the home of the Michigan Wolverines. And right now, Ohio State has come in here, and they lead at 12-7. Michigan able to convert a turnover to climb into this game after early. Ohio State dominated, especially the first quarter of play when they had the ball over 9 minutes. Houston will kick off.
Jim Tressel always looks like a college professor. He just looks like he's studying his math, and he's getting ready to go to the board.
He grew up near Baldwin Wallace. His dad was a coach there. He grew up in the shadows of the stadium, and obviously it was a good move for him. Hey, the ESPN College Football Encyclopedia is the biggest, richest reference guide ever published in the history of college football. You got to see this thing. It's amazing. There's profiles, records, statistical leaders, fight song lyrics of all 119 Division I programs, the Ivy League schools, the most prominent historically black colleges dating back to 1869, plus box scores for every major bowl game ever played, the vote breakdowns for every Heisman race, and complete lists of every year's consensus All-American. It goes on and on. Available now wherever books are sold. Come back now, 23 seconds left in the half. Michigan from the 20. They have 3 timeouts left as they hand off to Hart, and Hart gets a couple of yards. Hart has had a tough time in this ball game. Ohio State has really responded well. He's had to work for everything he can get. He's carried the ball 16 times, Bill, for 27 yards.
Well, I don't think he's right. I mean, he doesn't look like he's got that normal burst and explosiveness that you expect to see from him. Good football game.
Well, it was 9-0 early, and Ohio State started climbing ahead, and then Michigan roars back. Let's go to Dave Ryan.
Coach Tressel, how would you best evaluate your team's play in that first half?
Now, both teams are playing hard, and you can't turn the football over if you want a chance to win in this game. And we had a turnover, and hence you see their touchdown. But it's going to be a battle for 60 minutes. 2 great teams.
Losing Bobby Carpenter has to hurt. How can your defense rebound from that?
Well, you got to have the next guy ready, and James Laurinaitis is a good, young, tough kid, and he'll do a good job.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Rhino, thank you. Laurinaitis is a true freshman now playing the linebacking spot. Now to Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May with a Pontiac Performance halftime report.
All right, Gary, those Buckeye seniors going for their 3rd pair of gold pants. The little gold pants, they give them symbolic of beating Michigan. They have a 12-7 lead at the half. And last year, Mayday, it was Troy Smith and his ability to make big plays in broken field. And Michigan's done a better job against him in the first half here.
Well, it's only the first half, but he's making plays in this game to keep the offense alive, moving the chains, getting first down, and putting points on the board. And not only that, Antonio Pittman's doing a nice job of running the ball. They have to continue to make sure that they get the ball in Troy Smith's hands to make plays outside of the pocket. Not sitting back there in the pocket throwing, but rolling out and making plays.
I'm sitting here and all I'm thinking about, do you have any idea how hard it is for a coach to talk at halftime? You're anxious to go in the locker room, you got carb there, you got a million, and you got to ask questions, but that's all part of it. The one thing we said for the game, the team that can run the ball best, the team that didn't have turnovers, will be the one to be victorious.
Like those tough questions they ask coaches, what do you have to do in the second half? Score more points?
That's a Mike Leach answer there. Hey, let me tell you something, Lou. For $2 million a year or so, you guys ought to be able to answer a couple questions walking into the clubhouse. Come on.
I didn't get $2 million. That's why I'm here. If I'm here for the big bucks.
Let's talk later about what you're getting here. Let's see if you can cut me in on a little of that. Here to come on the Pontiac Performance halftime report. Performance by the Boston College defense as Maryland tries to get bowl eligible, and Danny Ware trying to run the Dogs into Atlanta in the SEC title game.
Welcome back to the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
The Big Ten's passing efficiency leader, Troy Smith. Michigan knows all too well the kind of damage he can do with his feet. Ohio State on top of Michigan, 12-7 in the Big House at halftime. And the winner of the Ohio State-Michigan game still has an opportunity to get the BCS automatic berth out of the Big Ten, but they need Michigan State to knock off Penn State this afternoon in East Lansing. That game, 4 o'clock Eastern Time, 1 o'clock on the West Coast on ESPN. Chris Fowler and the College Game Day gang on the banks of the Old Red Cedar.
Reese, the Spartan crowd promises it has not quit. The Spartan players say they are motivated by the potential Motor City Bowl bid as they come in at 5-5. We know there's so much at stake for Penn State. But these players have not been in this position, win or lose a championship in one 60-minute span. And I think the coaches at Penn State are a little bit tight. They know Spartans' history of being a dangerous spoiler, 9-1 against the top 10, even though they've been a terrible November team. And they're banged up. Stephon Wheeler, the tackle, Kyle Brown, the receiver. Maybe Stanton not quite 100%. But if they can play with heart and play together as they promised to, they got talent, this Michigan State team.
I think this game is going to be closer than the experts think, but I think Penn State's going to win it. And I think they win it because it's cold and windy. I think their running game, Tony Hunt and Michael Robinson combined, will run the football. Very few turnovers for Penn State. And I'm thinking Penn State wins this one, but closer than the experts think.
I think we've all seen this too many times. Michigan State's going to come into this game, nothing to lose, and throw havoc to the wind and play a great game. Drew Stanton's going to make big plays. Their offense is going to challenge Penn State. That's why, in my mind, forget about X's and O's. It's leadership. The intangibles is what it will eventually get Penn State through this game. Michael Robinson, the seniors have been through a lot as a group. They will not be denied, even though they're going to get a heck of a challenge from Michigan State. Penn State wins a close game and secures a BCS spot for the Lions.
And John L. Smith, who's feeling some heat, has promised to throw the kitchen sink at Penn State. A wild and wacky playbook for Michigan State. But that doesn't matter if they don't tackle better. And those are the things that heart and effort translate into. It's been a poor tackling team, drop passes, all kind of problems. The weather is supposed to be windy and a little cooler. It's very balmy right now in East Lansing. Can Penn State clinch the BCS bid? Will the Spartans pull the upset? 4 o'clock Eastern time here on ESPN. Respect to you guys.
All right, Chris, and so far this season, the L in John L. Smith has stood for lost season, because that's what's happened to the Spartans after that great start. Now, since John L. was 7-1 in his first season at Michigan State, since then, sort of the mediocre. They're 11-16 against everybody else. I don't know the history that these guys are talking about and bouncing back. Spartans get it back together against Penn State at all?
No, I don't think so. And I think the debacle that they had against Ohio State really tells you the story about the season for Michigan State this year. When the head coach calls out his coaches going into halftime, that comes back to haunt you in the locker room later. I think the coaches.
He wasn't wrong, though.
Yeah, but he wasn't wrong. But the coaches and the players, I think they've lost confidence in each other with the assistant coaches and the players. From that point on, this team just spiraled downward.
Oh, they absolutely have spiraled downward. I think they can bounce back, except they got to play Penn State, and I don't believe that they can beat the University of Penn State. However, in the late 90s, Michigan State had a great history of coming back and beating top-ranked teams. Remember, they're 9-1 against top-ranked teams, and Penn State is a top-ranked team, I'd like to remind you. Can they beat them? No.
I think a key in this game is Tony Hunt, the running back. I think he's 6'2". They list him at 205. He's really about 235, but he's powerful. He's going to rush for over 1,000 yards in this game. He'll get over. He'll get
over 1,000 yards.
He'll get 1,000 yards for the season in this game.
I was going to say that'd be some kind of record.
Some kind of record.
I think that maybe Virginia Tech's getting close to 1,000 points in a game against Virginia. Rivalry, schmivalry. Somebody broke into Scott Stadium and painted a T beside the V at midfield. And you know they might as well, because right now the Hokies have squatters' rights on that place. They ought to pay property taxes because they own them. Marcus Vick, Josh Morgan, 7-0, but wait, there's more. Tech punting, Michael Johnson will fumble. Roland Minor is there to get on top of it.
Beamer ball.
Hokies get a touchdown on the play, but as a result of the turnover there, 17-0, late in the second quarter, Marcus Vick, Eddie Royal.
What a great job of the offensive line protecting Marcus Vick, but a nice throw there. But Eddie Royal right there, staying in bounds, great footwork.
Hey, poor tackle. Be honest.
Everything's poor about Virginia in this game, Lou. 45-7. The wheels are coming off the Outgrow machine.
Boy, think how bad it'd be if they hadn't painted the T on the field.
Late in the third quarter there. Georgia and Kentucky senior day. DJ Shockley, who waited so patiently for his chance, is going to take his team to the SEC championship game, it would appear. All they have to do is beat Kentucky. Danny Ware running loose.
Well, he gets some very fine blocking, runs free, but what turned this game around was the fake punt early in the first quarter.
Gordon Ely-Kelso running with it for the Dogs, and then Brandon Coutu. He's going to reach for a long one. 56 yards. Yeah. It's my best Larry Munson. Kevin Butler once kicked a 60-yarder against Clemson, and that's sort of how Larry called it. 24-6. The Dogs rolling, win this game. They go to the SEC championship game. And look at this on Rocky Top. Vanderbilt scored in Neyland Stadium for the first time this century. They've been shut out 4 of the last 7 meetings against the Vols, but they're up 21-14. Vandy hasn't beaten Tennessee since '82. I'm going to put you guys on the spot. Commodores hang on to this or let it get away?
I think they let it get away because remember this, Tennessee is 54-1 against SEC opponents in the month of November.
I don't care about stats. I'm going with Vandy. Jay Cutler's going to finish his career strong at Vandy. They will upset Tennessee.
Vanderbilt, if they win this game, well, you think that Middle Tennessee loss, Kentucky loss might stick with them a little bit, keeping them out of a bowl game? Ohio State still dreams of a Big Ten title. They're on top of Michigan, 12-7 at the break. Oklahoma and Texas Tech, only one time has Mike Leach's offense scored more than a touchdown against the Oklahoma defense, and there's why. Cody Hodges right into coverage. Jason Carter takes it out of the end zone, and OU snuffs out the Texas Tech threat in a 3-0 game. Ensuing possession, Adrian Peterson, who's been healthy, carrying it more often lately.
Just powers it in between his tackles. Nice job by Adrian Peterson of pushing it into the end zone, giving the Sooners some life.
But here's a little life on the offense. Hodges up top to Jared Hicks, drops it in there beautifully, and Leach's team decked out in all red after that embarrassing loss to Oklahoma State last week on the road. A 10-7 lead as they go to the fourth quarter. Oklahoma's won 5 in a row against Texas Tech. The average score at that game has been like 40-16. Much more low-scoring game in Lubbock this afternoon. Cincinnati and South Florida, the Bulls still with a chance to make their way in the BCS. They've got West Virginia coming up in a couple of weeks. Pat Jewell missed to Jackie Chambers, and the Bulls were on the move. And fine running back, Lou, for the Bulls is Andre Hall.
Hey, just a good effort in here. The thing about South Florida, they're playing so physical.
In a 10-0 game late in the half, D'Antonio's team finds a little offense. Dustin Grutze to Dominic Goodman. Goodman strolls into the end zone, and the Bearcats with a C. Down 10-7, but now it's 23-7 as Levitt's team's found some offense, 23-7. Getting late in the third quarter, South Florida trying to win at 6 and become bowl eligible. Got UConn and then West Virginia the following week. In the ACC, Boston College in Maryland, Andre Callender right up the middle, 14 yards. BC up 7-0. Now, the big man Ralph Regent's team trying to answer in the snake pit of Byrd Stadium, but on a 3rd and goal play, Sam Hollenbach going to give up the ball, and Jolon Dunbar's there to get it.
Look at the quickness by Jolon. Look at him run down the side. You think he's going to make a quick piano? The piano's coming. Oh, the legs are starting to cramp up. Can he make it? He needs a little help.
You know how when you put a little tiny pinhole in a balloon and it just starts oozing out all in the air? That's how Jolon looked going down the sideline. His speed started draining away.
He was on the sidelines getting the oxygen.
It's a 14-10 game. BC can tie for the division title in the ACC, but Florida State beat them head-to-head, so Florida State's off to the championship game. Floyd of Rosedale is going to stay with Iowa. I mean, they are putting a beat down on the Gophers, 45-7, over 500 yards of offense through 3 quarters, and the Sweet Sioux Tomahawk right now. The lead's precarious, but Northwestern's up by 10 over Illinois.
The Pontiac Performance Halftime Report is powered by Pontiac. Nominate your game-changing performance at ESPN.com. Keyword Pontiac.
Winning school announced Thursday night to get $5 grand in the General Scholarship Fund. Pretty good play by Jason Avant there to get Michigan on the board. Buckeyes on top by 5 at the break.
We're at the half. Ohio State leads Michigan 12-7 with Bill Curry and Dave Ryan. I'm Gary Bender. ESPN College Football presented by Nokia. And right now, I guess, Bill Curry, the biggest question is, what adjustments can these teams make at halftime?
Well, it's just so critical what happens at the half. Not rah-rah speeches, but adjustments. Ohio State has been sensational this year in the second half, outscoring their opposition in the third and fourth quarters almost 3-1. Michigan not quite as good. They've got a little bit of a lead, but nothing like Ohio State. So you would have to say, based on past experience, Ohio State would have another advantage there. 93-32, Ohio State outscores the opposition in the third quarter, and 72-33 in the fourth.
You can see the halftime stats. The big turnover really put Michigan back into this game. It was all Ohio State at that stage. And of course, the loss of Bobby Carpenter, severely felt by this Ohio State team, will not return.
Pay attention to that rush yardage. Even though 71's not much, it's a whole lot more than 12. So Ohio State dominating the running game. I think except for the turnover, would have a bigger lead.
Houston kicking off. Preston along with Mason back deep. It's going to be Preston, and Preston upended as he comes across the 15 to the 17. Let's take a look at today's Napa Auto Care game track as we go back to show you what has happened. Troy Smith started all with a rushing touchdown that capped an 80-yard drive. And then Maurice Wells, the freshman, fumbled the ball. And Michigan pounced on it, and Henne able to connect with Avant. And Avant able to give them a 2-point deficit that time, 9-7, and then coming back, Houston able to hit a field goal in the waning seconds of the first half. From the 15-yard line, here comes Henne and company. Manningham comes in motion, quick pass, incomplete. And could not come up with that particular grab is Manningham, the true freshman. That'll bring up second down.
Well, I was shocked when I looked at the numbers at the half, and I mean, 13 out of 15 for Henne in the first half, and I thought he was a little bit high and wide on a couple, but a couple is literally all he missed, and here's one drop to start the third quarter. Not a good way to start the third quarter.
The other thing that surprised me, Bill, is the time of possession. I thought Ohio State was much more dominant than only 3 minutes. It seemed like they had the ball a lot more, but only 3 minutes more. Mike Hart remains as the running back. As we mentioned, he's playing a little nicked up. He's going to get the ball, and he's going to be grounded. This Ohio State defense, the #1 defense in the Big Ten. Marcus Green and Anthony Schlegel both combining on the stop that time. Schlegel coming from the Air Force after being an all-Mountain West player for Fisher DeBerry out there. Said it was just too much sameness for him at Air Force. He wanted to come and play in this big program at Ohio State. And, of course, Jim Tressel's glad to have him here.
I would think he might be glad to have him. He was a leading tackler out there in the Mountain West Conference and has measured up against Big Ten competition, too.
For the first time now, we're going to see Kevin Grady. He is an outstanding freshman, true freshman, who comes into the game now. He is number 3. Henne back to throw. Being flushed out. Throws under duress. Incomplete. Big pressure coming that time from A.J. Hawk. A.J. Hawk can run with about any wide receiver or running back.
Well, that's one of the things that the coaches noticed, that Hawk was lined up in coverage, and they would get what they thought were mismatches and get a wide receiver or a really fast back on him, and he would run stride for stride with those people.
Ross Ryan will come in and punt the football. Ted Ginn, Santonio Holmes will go back now for Ohio State from the 2-yard line. So Michigan is 3 and out here to start the second half of play. The snap was good. The boot with the wind to his back. Beautiful kick. Ginn drifting back. Got it. Fumbled it. And the ball is loose. Still loose at the 30. Being fought for at the 25-yard line. Who's got it? Ginn never did get the football. He fought desperately to come up with it. And it's going to be Ohio State football.
Excuse me, Gary, but that's what Lloyd Carr was worried about, punting not against the wind. He wasn't worried about that. They only punted once in the first half, a 34-yarder with a 6-yard return. He was worried about kicking with the wind, and sure enough, Ginn had a chance to run with it, and Ted was already looking for places before the ball got to him, and he never got it put away. Very fortunate for the Buckeyes that they came up with the football.
50-yard punt, and then they lose 14 more yards in the scramble. But fortunately for the Buckeyes, they get it. And they have it at the 25-yard line, and here comes Troy Smith. He was very good in that first half of play. Smith, quick pitch. And it's Pittman. Cuts it against the grain and able to bounce forward across the 25 to the 26. Pat Massey on the tackle, and let's go to Dave Ryan.
All right, Gary spoke a moment ago with Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr. I asked him how will his team respond in the second half. He said, I have a simple message for my Wolverines. We have 30 minutes. 30 minutes to create a legacy. I asked him, will your team respond to that? He said, Dave, absolutely. They're ready.
A man of few words, but I'm sure he had some choice words at halftime. His team down 12-7. Second down now, 9 yards for the Buckeyes. Gonzalez along with Roy Hall split to the top of the field. Pittman in the backfield along with Smith. Smith with time, throwing and complete to Ginn, and Ginn is tackled instantly at the 31. Good reaction by Morgan Trent. Morgan Trent is one of the fastest players on the field today. He is a sophomore out of Brighton, Michigan.
Yeah, and Morgan Trent was in a cover 2, a hard corner, which was perfect for him there. He had turned it out, found the hole in the zone, and then Morgan Trent came in and made the sure tackle to create this 3rd and 5, and Michigan needs to start getting some stops here.
Mike Hart on the sideline having his ankle retaped. He's had that high ankle sprain. Grady was in that last series, and now a flag trying to get time out, I think, was Ohio State. Let's see what this is all about.
Timeout, Ohio State.
So the flag will be picked up. It is a timeout by the Buckeyes. Jim Tressel, his team up 12-7.
The EA Sports Maui Invitational begins Monday at 2:30 on ESPN2.
Gary, you don't store Bud Light in the heat.
Says who?
Says someone. Someone who knows.
You store Bud Light in cool, dark place, not in heat. Now I punish you like you punish Bud Light.
Is this gonna cut in the lunch?
You like it when I store you in heat?
Let me check. No.
Store in cool, dark, dry place.
Gun, rated M for mature. Available now.
Hey, dear, you seen my chain?
No, I haven't seen it.
On XM Satellite Radio. Hey, Snoop.
This is David Bowie, guest DJ on. Hi, Snoop.
Listen large, only on XM Satellite Radio, with radio starting at $30.
You're a generation that gave new meaning to the meaningful relationship. And we can relate to that. We are the personal advisors of Ameriprise Financial, the next generation of American Express financial advisors. We'll work with you one-to-one, face-to-face, from day one, to help you get to what's next in your life.
And this heated rivalry continues. Timeout by Ohio State. They have a 3rd down, a long 4 as we come back in. Ohio State up 12-7. Troy Smith back to throw. He's hit. The ball, is it fumbled or an incomplete pass? They're scrambling for it. Michigan's got it. It is a fumble. Pressure by Lamar Woodley.
No, something new. We've been there.
Okay, folks.
Why not make a smaller one? Girl.
Big turnover in this game. Michigan trying to capitalize on it. They did earlier. They were able to turn one into a touchdown. Branch on the fumble recovery. Woodley hits Smith. Back to throw is Chad Henne. Henne throwing. Complete. It's caught by Manningham, and Manningham's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 8-yard line by Brandon Mitchell. 13-yard pickup on the play. Let's go back now. We lost our signal for a moment. There is the pressure by Woodley. Scramble, and Branch comes up with it.
Yeah, Woodley did a great job. Lamar Woodley, number 56, who's been out with a bruised arm, he just hit the gap, and it was a sophisticated stunt.
So it's now going to be 1st and goal at the 7 Michigan living off of turnovers here today. They come out with Avant and Preston split to the top of the field. Grady is the running back behind Chad Henne. Henne to throw, scrambling around, lowers his head and gets a yard. Out to the 6, and that's all. Good reaction that time. It was A.J. Hawk around the ball, pressuring, making Henne elect to run with it.
Yeah, really smart decision by Henne. He's having a very good day, and that was one of his better plays, believe it or not. He had good protection, nobody open, you run straight ahead, you don't take a loss, you come up 2nd and 6.
2nd and goal from the 6. Avant to the top of the field. Massacoy, the tight end, to the near side. Grady, the running back. Here comes the freshman with the 5. He is a bulldozer type runner. He's shoved back. That was Quinn Pickcott. The defensive tackle led the charge defensively for the Buckeyes. Going to mark the ball at about the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal from there.
Red zone defense for Ohio State. They do a great job. People inside their red zone score touchdowns less than 46% of the time, 45.8% of the time. They've only given up 11 touchdowns when a team has the ball in their red zone this year.
Michigan does not want to settle for the field goal. They have 3rd and goal from the 5. Grady remains in. Grady is the guy who started the last 2 weeks of freshman number 3 behind Henne. Receivers wide left and wide right. Preston will come in motion, and we're going to have now a timeout called as some confusion up front on that particular set.
Offense,
Timeout.
number 7, 5 yards.
Nope, they're going to go
down
offside.
remains. 3rd.
Wow. So they're going to move the ball out at the 10-yard line.
He didn't make it. He didn't make it to the clock ran out. You know, Henne is a veteran. This is his 23rd start, so it's not a time for him to be making mistakes with the clock at the 5-yard line.
So what he was indicating was a delay of game. It'll move it out to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Lloyd Carr is livid, so obviously he doesn't agree with the call, but it doesn't matter what he thinks. It matters what the officials saw. When that clock runs down, they're going to call it. A very, very big mistake.
So instead of 3rd and goal at the 5, it's 3rd and goal at the 10. So Henne will bring to the line of scrimmage at the 10:22 mark here in the 3rd quarter. Avant, along with Preston, put to the top of the field.
They really like
Avant.
Avant. They like Avant down here, Gary. Number 8.
Henne back to throw, over the middle, and he cannot hit his tight end. That was Tyler Eckert, who they tried to connect with, who caught a touchdown pass last week. The senior out of California could not come up with it. It's 4th and goal.
And guess who was covering him? Number 47 had him, got beat inside and then recovered. Doesn't matter, the ball was overthrown, but actually Hawk got beat that time. A very clever move, quick move inside.
We have another
tight end, Tyler Eckert.
Excuse me, Bill. Another Michigan player shaking up on the play right now, getting up. And that's one of their offensive linemen. That's Stenovich.
Yeah, this is a rough game down here. I'll tell you, had that been an accurate throw, that was a late throw. Henne just a little bit late with the throw, but really good move by Tyler Eckert. He beat Hawk. He had him. He had a couple of steps on him in the back of the end zone. The ball was just overthrown, and it was thrown late.
Garrett Rivas will come in and attempt the field goal, 27-yarder. He's been very effective, 17 of 23, leads the Big Ten in field goals attempted. Out of the hole of Gutierrez, and his kick is up, and Rivas has now moved this Michigan team within 2. 12-10. 2 turnovers leading to scores.
No, something new. We've been there.
Okay, folks.
Why not make a smaller one? Girl.
Me? I'm a problem solver. There's a problem, I solve it. One problem I thought I'd solved? My acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn. But when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus. And one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. So I don't just feel better, I am better. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium.
Talk to your doctor about Nexium and find out if a free trial is right for you.
Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Nexium, the healing purple pill. If you can't afford your medications, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Nexium. Talk to your doctor about prescription Nexium. And Hummer. Check out the new H3. Hummer, like nothing else.
Ohio State has had their lead whittled to 12-10 after a 27-yard field goal by this guy, Garrett Rivas, who kicks off with the wind to his back. Line drive affair. Holmes will go to a knee, and Ohio State will start from the 20-yard line. So with Bill Curry and Dave Ryan, I'm Gary Bender. Glad to have you with us here at the Big House, a 102nd meeting between Ohio State and Michigan. Look at this, the last 50 meetings dead even, 24-24-2. And the winner today will get a BCS bid if Penn State stumbles later in East Lansing against Michigan State. 10 points off of turnovers by this Michigan team has kept them alive. Ohio State will start from the 20. Smith will give to Pittman. Pittman trying to get outside and got a couple, and that's all to the 22. That was Dave Harris there to make the tackle. And you can see the difference as far as Michigan is concerned. They have been given an opportunity to win this game by the turnovers.
And the turnovers were both results of hard hitting. This football game's been hard hitting all along. Young tailback tossed it up, and then the second time, just an excellent pass rush, and Troy Smith never saw it coming. The ball goes on the ground, and Michigan converted both times.
Lamar Woodley, the guy that caused that fumble. Here's the pass up the field. That is Marcel Frost, the tight end. That's a first down catch. And again, they have not really used their tight ends that much in the passing game, especially after Ryan Hamby went down with injury. That's a 12-yard pickup on the play, first down. It'll mark it at the 35-yard line. So Smith trying to regroup after having that fumble a moment ago. Ohio State started out this game, moved 80 yards, scored the touchdown, missed the point after, and it's still a big miss in this game. Right now, a 2-point game instead of 3. Back to throw is Smith, and tried to hit Holmes. And let's go to the studio. Let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, Gary, Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Mike Leach, the former Bob Stoops assistant, trying to win against OU for the first time. Cody Hodges going to buy a little time. And, you know, sort of like all broadcasters, Cody just trying to get to Bristol. Bristol Olamua with the touchdown there. And Texas Tech with a 17-7 lead in the fourth quarter. And BC over Maryland 24-16. Terps need one more win to become bowl eligible.
All right, those Red Raiders are tough to play. They score a lot of points. Second down and 10. Handoff comes to Pittman. And Pittman shoved backwards as he tries to fire up the middle. Maybe got a yard, and that's all. As a good reaction that time by Michigan's Sean Crable.
Yeah, several big plays by Sean Crable. We've got him unofficially for about 4 tackles now. He's done a marvelous job. He's a slippery guy. He's not a big guy, but he gets up in the line of scrimmage and he slips between blockers and he hits them in the backfield. Nice job by Sean.
And you know he wants to beat his Buckeye State team. He comes from Massillon, Ohio, Washington High School. Here we go, third down, 9 yards to go. 4 wideouts. Smith Complete to Ginn. Open field move. Good reaction by Michigan. I mean, very good reaction. Leon Hall was there first. They respect Ginn's speed, and they were going to let him get turned up the field.
You think that was very good? They had him surrounded, cornered, hog-tied, and in the corral. Great defense. This is what Jim Herman teaches. Another nice executed throw, and he expects Ginn to run for the first down, right? No, there are people all over and coming from every direction. Morgan Trent started the tackle, slipped off, got up, and finished the tackle.
Trapasso will punt. A redshirt freshman from Pinkerton, Ohio. Preston is back deep for Michigan. Preston coming up, calls for the fair catch. It's into the wind and now takes an Ohio State bounce across the 20 to the 19-yard line. And so Michigan will have it there. That ends up being a 44-yard punt. Well, Ted Ginn, in talking to Jim Tressel, he says, we have no idea how fast he is, but he says he's a football guy playing with track speed, and that speed scares every team in the open field.
No, something new. We've been there.
Okay, folks.
Why not make a smaller one? Hey, girl.
And
You gotta stop playing these exams the way you play football. Teamwork.
It's cheating. You know, it is not about winning. It's about the truth.
Codebreakers, an ESPN original movie, Saturday, December 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Ho, ho, ho! Here's to a year of saying no to redeeming credit card miles. Enjoy your bonuses.
Hey, maybe next year we can say yes.
No.
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One No Hassle Rewards. There are no blackout dates. Check your mailbox for details.
I should have ordered a Capital One! What's in your wallet?
Discover the amazing hidden secrets of America's finest baseball school in Teaching the Mechanics of the Major League Swing 2. Tommy Maskey's powerful teaching video that features the same revolutionary techniques that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Parents, players, and coaches have been simply amazed at their students' rapid week-by-week improvement. These award-winning techniques benefit players of all ages and ability levels and make a valuable addition to any coach's library. It's a great gift, too. Call now.
Bobby Carpenter broke his fibula early in the game. He's number 42. He was on the first series, but look at him. He's out there encouraging his troops. His team up by 2 as Michigan now will start from the 20-yard line. Kevin Grady remains in, the running back, the true freshman, after Hart had to have his ankle retaped. And he sets up the screen to Grady. Grady to the 20. And he's going to be dropped at the 23. Let's go down to Dave Ryan. Rhino?
All right, this guy, Derek Jeter, Yankee captain, all-star shortstop, 4-time World Series champ, signed with Michigan. Then he wanted to do greater things with the Yanks. What is this atmosphere like for you to watch as a fan?
This is like New York and Boston right here, Yankees, Red Sox. I mean, this atmosphere here is second to none in college football.
So would this compare to a World Series game, an ALCS game with the Red Sox?
It seems that way. I mean, the atmosphere always makes it for a fun environment, and it doesn't get any better than this. This is the Yankee Stadium of college football.
That's right. Tell us about your thoughts on the White Sox run in the World Series this year. How would you evaluate Ozzie Guillen's job in getting the World Series?
Oh, he did a great job. I mean, Ozzie's, he's a fun person to be around. I enjoy playing against him. It seems like he keeps his team real loose, and I'm sure he's a big reason why they won.
Thanks a lot for your time, Derek.
Yeah, no problem.
Guys?
All right, Rhino, I'll tell you, this guy Jeter was a big-time player in postseason. And now getting up is going to be Massaquoi, the senior from Allentown. Now, he's been hurt a lot this year, but this isn't the injury he's been battling. He had a cast on his hand after a broken wrist and had come back playing without a wrist for the first time. Let's see if we, oh, look at this from behind.
You just hate to see that. First of all, it's a great football play by Quinn Pitcock in pursuit, but he falls on Massaquoi's ankle. And sometimes that happens when you've been out with another injury. You just aren't ready.
2nd and 5. Henne back to throw. And he makes the completion. That's Eckert, the other tight end for Michigan. and he's got a first down across the 30 to the 31-yard line. It was Dante Whitner who's playing like a linebacker now, Bill, because Carpenter's out of the game.
Yeah, they're going with their nickel, and Whitner, of course, he's all man too. He's normally a strong safety, but he's in there for Carpenter, and this is a zone coverage, and Whitner picks him up as he comes across the zone and does a nice job of running him out of bounds. But I'm really impressed with Tyler Ecker. I think he makes good moves, he makes good decisions, he made a nice catch and made sure he got the necessary yardage for the first there.
Ecker is 6'6", so he's a big target for Henne. First down at the 31. Pitch coming back now, and it's going to be Antonio Bass, who plays wide receiver, running back, and this time able to get a couple of yards as Penn State and Michigan State starting later today in East Lansing. Big game. Penn State trying to win their first Big Ten championship since '94, and if they win, they are headed to the BCS and will be Big Ten champions. If they lose, the winner of this game gets the BCS berth. Second down, a yard to go. Just had the attendance announced today, the fourth largest crowd in the Big House history. Back to throw is Henne. Up the field. Avant. Oh, did he take a shot? Avant tried to go up to make the catch, and that was Nate Sally, who's known for being a big hitter, and the senior out of Fort Lauderdale unloaded on him that time.
This is a zone coverage. It's a two-deep zone. Nobody gets a chuck on the speedy Avant. And Sally really deserved a little help on that. Didn't get it, but he still got there. He came off the hash, and that's his play.
Third and
to
9.
bat that ball away. Great job by Nate Sally.
Excuse me, Bill. Third down 9. 111,591 people here today. Fourth largest ever to watch a game in the stadium. On a third and 9, Henne. He's going to be tackled for a loss. 38 sacks this year by Ohio State. Leads the Big Ten, and David Patterson will get credit for that one.
Yeah, that was a three-man rush. No excuse for that. That just shouldn't happen. And I think probably Jake Long, who's been out there playing all day, number 77, out there on the right side, is probably struggling a little bit coming off his injury because he gets pushed back, gets beat back inside. Three-man rush should not get a sack in that situation.
Ross Ryan to punt away for Michigan again, and Holmes back for Ohio State. Very dangerous situation right now for Michigan. But the dangerous Ginn and Holmes back. Ryan's punt hit high. Ginn waiting on it. He fumbled it again. It's loose at the 15. That's twice he's muffed or fumbled a punt. This time Ohio State comes up with it at the 12-yard line.
And Gary, it's just incredible good luck for the Buckeyes that they have not lost either of those two fumbles. This is something that very seldom happens because you see blue shirts everywhere. This time, Ginn, who's normally very secure in these situations, attempts to catch the ball on the side of his body. You have to catch it right there where the 7 is. It may be that swirling wind, Brendan Harrison, number 27, right in his face, kicking himself for not getting on that football. And they are very lucky they've had two safeties back both times, and that time his friend Santonio Holmes quickly got on that football, but field position is huge, and they're in bad field position.
They are in bad field position inside the 15. Handoff comes to Pittman. Pittman is going to be tackled. Very good reaction by the big nose tackle, Watson. You got to love Watson. He's a guy who's struggled with weight his entire career. He's battled it. He's down to 320 pounds. And due to that, Bill, he's really rejuvenated his game.
Well, I think it's really nice when you can say a guy is down to 320 and he can move his feet and play football the way we just saw Watson do that. He came off that block, and that's a good football player, Nick Mangold, that he was playing against.
Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9. And now the crowd here at the Big House sensing this is a huge moment. Ohio State trying to overcome that miscue on the punt. And the pass is complete to Pittman. Pittman gets out close to the 19-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. Alan Branch over to make the tackle.
Grant Mason coming up doing a great job of forcing that play. And he's the first corner I've seen in years that leads the team in tackles. He's tied with the linebacker Dave Harris for leading the team in total tackles coming into this game, and you see why there as he forced that play, got a hold of the back and held him up for the rest of the pursuit. Here is a huge third down for Ohio State.
3rd down and 4. They have this time 4 wideouts, 3, make it 5 wideouts, 3 to the top of the field. Smith, and it's incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down. Good coverage that time, as that is Engelman, Brandon Engelman, who Jim Herman said if he had a daughter, he'd like to have him marry him because he is such a classy young man. Doesn't say much. Out of Covington, Kentucky, making the play. And now to punt it away will be Trapasso. He'll be punting this ball inside the 5-yard line. At the 3:15 mark, the snap is good. Into the wind, held up. Not hit well at all. And it's going to go sideways and will go out of bounds across the 35-yard line. It ends up being an 18-yard punt. Let's take a look back now at today's Nokia Moment in Time. And it's going to feature Desmond Howard, the Michigan wide receiver from 88 to 91. He was the 91 Heisman Trophy winner that year, 61 catches, 950 yards, 19 receiving touchdowns, 23 total, and the Heisman pose at the end of the play.
Yeah, he patented that. He'd get penalized for that these days, but he was so cute. Everybody liked him so much. He was such an engaging personality. Nobody blamed him.
So Michigan now with a golden opportunity. 18-yard punt, sets it up at the 37-yard line. Henne, a half roll, hits Preston. Preston in the open field of the 30. And he's going to fight his way forward close to the first down. Nice move by Preston, showing his athleticism. Tyler Everett was over there to make the stop. That should be enough for the first down. Everett, the senior out of Canton, Ohio.
Steve Preston has made a big play in every game that Michigan has won. And while this may not be a 50, 60, or 70-yarder, this is a big play because it's a first down inside the 30-yard line. Well, I thought it was a first. It's going to be 2nd and inches here. But a great job by Steve Preston, and you could call that a big play.
2nd down and less than a yard to go. As Henne will give off to Grady, and Grady's going to get the first down. Grady just like a bulldozer up with a sledgehammer, if you will.
Yeah, he's
big,
sledgehammer,
strong.
but he did it by himself. He had a nice hole. That was an off-tackle play to his right. The backside guard pulled. They had a nice double team, and he just cut it right back into the pursuit and took a heck of a shot when he didn't have to.
I tell you what, when you make a mistake, you better make a play, huh?
Well, he's a freshman, and he made the first down, so they'll watch the tape and say, now, do you really want to punish yourself that much, Kevin?
First down now to 25. The special teams for Ohio State have really had a tough time fielding the punts. And now trying to hang on here. Henne throwing, he completes it. Catch down to the 15-yard line. Preston again. Preston came in here with 18 catches. That's an 11-yarder. And Sunday night, the Chiefs, Dick Vermeil's team, trying to keep pace in that tough AFC West. Trying to stay close to the Denver Broncos. They take on the Houston Texans. And coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with NFL Primetime presented by Miller Lite. Chiefs and Texans also available in high definition on ESPN HD. So it's going to bring up now a first down inside the 15-yard line for the Wolverines. Trying to take the lead in this game. They've trailed the entire afternoon. Grady in the backfield. Henne is back. End zone. Is a catch made by Avant? No, incomplete. Almost. There is a penalty flag. Jason Avant went up. Tyler Everett defending for Ohio State could not hang on.
They love Avant down near the goal line. They've already thrown one touchdown pass to him today on a little post corner fade. This time he comes with the slant, and they're going to call pass interference.
Automatic first
down.
down.
Defense.
It's Tyler Everett, the guy who was guilty of the pass interference out of McKinley High School in Canton. But you said it well, Coach. Avant is their guy in the red zone.
Yeah, he's tough. And these guys, remember, they only give up touchdowns about 46% of the time when people get into their red zone. Now Henne's having trouble getting the signal from the sideline. He's signaling to the coaches, and they're going to have to hustle up to get this ball snapped.
He was looking into the sun, had a tough time seeing it. Give it to Grady, and the freshman's in. Kevin Grady. So now Michigan is going to go for 2 after this play, up 16-12 as Grady scoring the touchdown.
Gary, I think this is a mistake. I think it's easier to score 2 points by kicking 2 than to go for 2 twice.
Well, here
this
they go.
assumes that they're not going to score again.
16-12 the count. Michigan will go for 2. Preston comes in motion. Henne looking his way. He's going to scramble. Henne's going to try to get in. He got in for 2.
Unless you can do that. All those 2-point charts assume that it's on the last score of the game. You would think that Michigan would think that they would be scoring again sometime in the 4th quarter, but nonetheless, Chad Henne makes him look good, and a missed tackle that time, uncharacteristically by 94 Marcus Green. A nice job by Henne. Here's Marcus Green. He's playing spy. He's looking for just this very kind of thing. Cannot keep his feet. And a really nice job by the not-so-elusive Chad Henne, at least normally not so elusive.
Well, Ohio State having trouble fielding a punt, then punting one only 18 yards. They pay for it. And for the first time, Michigan has the lead in this game. 18-12 with 1:20 to go in the 3rd. Boy, in a big rivalry like this, field position is so big, and mistakes that Ohio State has made has allowed Michigan to take the lead at home. Kickoff now by Rivas, and it's going to be taken by Anthony Gonzalez. Gonzalez up to the 25 to the 26-yard line, and so the Buckeyes now in a catch-up posture for the first time.
And that's another mistake by Ohio State. The normally alert Ohio State Buckeyes for special team situations. Veteran player and one of their leaders, Anthony Gonzalez, makes a catch over his shoulder. That ball would have gone out of bounds, and they would have had it at the 35-yard line or have it re-kicked.
You saw the average starting field position as Ohio State has set up Michigan too often as far as Jim Tressel is concerned. They'll start this from the 26-yard line. 3 wideouts. Smith on the option, pitches to Pittman. Pittman drags a tackler across the 30 to the 31. Leon Hall there to ride him down. So Ohio State will have a 2nd down and still 5 yards to go.
A really dangerous play, I think, to Michigan's defense right now, because they're changing up their coverages, and Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator, has got a variety of looks to give Ohio State, but the play-action pass off that option look is really difficult to defend. Don't be surprised if you see that soon.
40 seconds left now in this 3rd quarter. Handoff comes to Pittman, bouncing off of people. A good effort on his part, and they're going to get a 1st down, and that will stop the clock. And let's go down to Dave Ryan.
Coach Jim Tressel tells us this week that Antonio Pittman has had to really come back from a reputation in Columbus of being a little bit of a soft running back. He really wanted to be successful in the Big Ten. He said, Antonio, you've got to be sore after games for a couple days. In other words, much more physical. We've seen a lot of that today. He's got to run over tacklers instead of trying to run around them and run out of bounds. He's more physical back this year, Gary.
He really is. He's had 100-yard games in 4 of the last 5 outings. And here he goes again, and he gets to the 40, and that's going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. So Ohio State, who had led early in this ball game, 9-0, 12-7 at half, now trail 18-12 with 15 minutes to go.
Sunday at 11 a.m. Preview games from around the league on Sunday NFL Countdown.
Guys ready? Let's do this.
ESPN College Game Day, Saturdays, 10:30 a.m. Eastern.
And the first thing I do is I get rid of all of his photos. I get rid of all the little, concert tickets and stuff like that we went to together. I delete his email. And the last thing I do in a breakup is I delete him from my cell phone. It is so great because when you go to the phone and you delete it and your phone asks, "Are you sure?" And you look at your phone and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure." He wasn't in my phone anymore. I don't even know who he is. David who?
Hungry for both steak and shrimp?
Hey, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving too.
Applebee's Steak and Shrimp Double Features.
Steak and shrimp, gonna get my fill. I got a bad case of loving too.
Two mouth-watering favorites on one delicious plate. Just what the doctor ordered.
Got a bad case of loving
Get the gift that'll brighten everyone's holidays. The Applebee's gift card while supplies last.
No, something new. We've been there.
Okay, folks.
Why not make a smaller one? Hey, girl.
And
Hey, dear, you seen my chain? No, I haven't seen it.
On XM Satellite Radio. Hey, Snoop.
This is David Bowie, guest DJ on. Hi, Snoop.
Listen large, only on XM Satellite Radio, with radio starting at $30.
ESPN College Football presented by Nokia. 15 minutes to go in this rivalry. Ohio State, who had led most of the way, now down 18-12, but they have been a good fourth quarter team.
They have outscored opponents 72-33, over double their opponents. Michigan 71-69, so sort of even Steven. Ohio State, the better fourth quarter team.
Here is a quarterback draw by Smith, and Smith across the 45 to the 47. Engelman over there to make the stop for the Michigan Wolverines as we start this fourth quarter. So Ohio State, who came in here, was one of the best special teams in the country. In fact, out of the 117 Division I-A schools, they were top 40 in 5 special teams. Number 1 in net punting. In fact, Jim Tressel has said many times, Bill, that the punt is the most important play in football, and they have not handled it well today. And there's a handoff straight ahead this time to Pittman, and Pittman's got the first down out to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, that was an excellent call on offense out there by Jim Bowman, the offensive coordinator for Ohio State. They hustled up to the ball on 3rd and short, got lined up and unbalanced. Michigan was trying to get lined up and did get down in their stances, but not quick enough, and they got knocked back off the ball, and Ohio State was able to convert and make the first.
Pittman's carried the ball 20 times for 78 yards. They need a 100-yard game out of him again. First down at the midfield stripe. 3 wideouts on the play. Smith on a half roll. Now buying time, completes it. Catch is made by Pittman, and he drags a tackler with him inside the 40, close to the 36-yard line. 12-yard pickup. Let's take a look at today's Napa Auto Care game track. Turnovers by Ohio State. A fumble by Smith. As Woodley put the pressure on him, Branch came up with a fumble recovery, and then Brady marches in, the freshman, to give Michigan their first lead of the afternoon. First down, line of scrimmage, they're going to mark it at the 37. Pittman still in the backfield. Receivers wide left and wide right. 13:44 left to go. Handoff Pittman. Pittman trying to find some place to move the football. Gets a couple to the 35. Pat Massey was there along with Gabe Watson to make the tackle for the Wolverines.
And the Michigan defense on the defensive virtually all day. Ohio State now has 257 yards. Michigan a scant 150. So the yardage and the wear and tear on the defense, if it's going to take effect, will take effect here as we get into the latter stages of the game in the fourth quarter.
Second down, 8 yards to go. They mark the ball just outside the 35. Gonzalez can split to the near side. Ginn is in a slot. Smith has Pittman in the backfield. Smith, and the ball deflected. Tried to go over the middle, deflected by the on-rushing defensive line. That was Lamar Woodley. And so with now 12:51 to go in this rivalry from the Big House in Ann Arbor. Along with Bill Curry and Dave Ryan, I'm Gary Bender. Ohio State led early. They led 9-0, 12-7.5. Lost the lead at the 1:20 mark of the third quarter. And now the Buckeyes on a 3rd down 8 as they have the ball just outside the Michigan 35. Holmes and Ginn split out. Smith dumps it up to Pittman. Pittman fighting for the first down. He did not get it, I don't think. Let's see where they're going to mark it. Good reaction that time as they flared it out, and eventually it was Willis Behringer who was over there that drove him out of bounds. It's going to be 4th down and 2 to go.
Good job by Willis Behringer out there, and it was a zone coverage, a 3-deep zone, and Behringer out there playing his third, and he came up in several tackles. Michigan's missed 7 tackles in the open field today, but not that time. Behringer with a sure tackle on the sideline.
46-yard attempt now by Houston. He's kicked one from 47. He's also booted one from 27 yards out. The kick is on the way. The kick is long enough, and the kick is no good. So Houston, who has been almost automatic, doesn't get the field goal.
The EA Sports Maui Invitational begins Monday at 2:30 on ESPN2.
Taco Bell's new Chipotle Grilled Stuffed Burrito. Loaded with carne asada steak, Chipotle seasoned rice, spicy Southwest Chipotle sauce, and 3 melted cheeses. All wrapped up and grilled to go. For the perfect balance of flavor and spice, think outside the bun.
Do Nikon people take better vacations? Or does the Nikon D50 just make it look that way? The digital SLR the world's been waiting for is here. The affordable new Nikon D50 makes taking incredible digital pictures so incredibly easy. Just about anyone can do it.
Enterprise Rental Car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number one.
They are number one.
So if Enterprise is number one, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Hey, down here. Filling up with Shell gasoline, right?
Yeah.
Apply now and get a Shell MasterCard, and I'd be your 15% rebate. That's 35 cents a gallon at $2.35 a gallon. Good for your first 60 days. Just imagine all the rebates.
You get 15% rebates for 60 days with the new Shell MasterCard account when you apply by January 15th, 2006. Call 1-877-MY-SHELL or stop by your nearest Shell station.
John Houston, should say Josh Houston, has just been so good this year. But he's missed a point after. He just missed a 46-yard field goal after hitting 2 earlier. And now Michigan takes over. Henning on a screen, completes it to Grady. Grady's going to pile drive his way to the 30 and then straightened up and slammed back on the play. That was Schlegel, the linebacker from Highlands Park, Texas, who was over there. It's going to bring up 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Well, you know, we have talked so many times, Bill, about field goal kickers. You mentioned this earlier. When you have a right footer kicking from the right hash mark, how difficult it is.
It's
and that's
a tough
what Houston had.
Yeah, you find that they either hook it or they push it and it goes outside the right upper eight, which is exactly what Houston did then.
2nd down and 9. 11:23 to go in this rivalry from Ann Arbor. Henning back, being flushed and gets rid of it as he tried to dump it near side. A lot of pressure. Schlegel was one of those to get there. Let's go to Rhino.
Well, Gary, after last year's game, Lloyd Carr told us that Chad Henne blamed himself, the Michigan quarterback, for that loss at Ohio Stadium. Ohio State knows how good Henne is. They're taking him very seriously. This is the pin-up, the poster they have outside all of the defensive lockers in the Ohio State locker room here at Michigan Stadium. Effective quarterback, Ohio State defense, and toughness. They got to him right there. Obviously, it's a big key. They're going to have to get to Chad Henne and make some big plays in terms of pressure in this fourth quarter if Ohio State has got a chance to win this game.
Well, I tell you, your report's timely because they had some pressure on that time. The guy that is shaken up on the play is their offensive guard, Matt Lenz. He's an all Big Ten performer, and he's going to walk off limping. Lenz, a junior out of Ortonville, Michigan. So he'll come off. And
they've been decimated up front. Their offensive line, Jake Long, number 77, is out there playing hurt. Adam Krause, their center, hadn't played at all today. Mark Beal has stepped in for him, so they've really had to juggle around.
As we mentioned at the start of the day, Ohio State had 38 sacks. Their school record is 47. The 38 led the conference. Third down now, 8 yards to go. Manningham goes in motion. Henne on delay, counter. And it's going to be run out that time by another running back, Jerome Jackson. Jackson's in the game, so the first time. And Jackson on a counter to the near side. And eventually Mike Carl over to make the tackle, and they're going to see if, in fact, it is enough for the first down. Nice counter play that time.
Yeah, a lot of stunning going on up front. Marcus Green, the fine nose guard, stunted that time and took himself right out of the play. Of course, somebody's supposed to be filling that gap, so a linebacker got blocked, and a nice job of running there by Mike Carl, number 26, and they're going to be about 6 inches short.
So it is 6 inches short. And now, with a fourth down, the crowd is murmuring here at the big house.
Need to punt the football. Chad Henne is begging his coach to go for it. This is where you have to suck it up and kick the football and play field position. That's what Michigan has done so well today. When they've gotten field position, they've made it count. You want to kick Ohio State down deep and play defense.
They're going to go for it.
Lloyd Carr does not happen to agree. Let's see if they use the old freeze technique and try to get the Ohio State guys to jump off sides.
So Grady comes in at running back, the freshman. Oh, this crowd is right now buzzing. Fourth down, less than a yard to go. Preston goes in motion. Henne trying to sneak it. And we'll wait. It looks like he got enough, and he did.
Yeah, he's a good sneak quarterback. If you're going to do this, that's what you ought to run. If you've got a guy that can run a quarterback sneak, a lot of good quarterbacks are not very good at it. Then he got his pads down, drove his feet. Good job by the big guys up front. I still think it was an undue risk to take at this point in the game, but they pulled it off.
Stenovich was the guy that threw the block, the senior out of Marshfield, Wisconsin. And Henne, who weighs 225 pounds, leveraged his way up the field. Here's Henne, quick pass, intended for Preston, goes out of bounds. Now, Ohio State is saying that's a backwards pass.
It was a backward pass. I think that ball is going to end up being like 2nd and 14.
And the officials, let's see what they're going to do. I don't think, yep, they're going to move. No, they're not. They're going to rule it incomplete. It had to be backwards.
Tressel's over there begging, hoping that it'll be reviewed upstairs. Michigan quickly breaking the huddle, trying to get a play run so that it will not be reviewed.
And here we go, 2nd down and 10, and it won't be reviewed now. Here's Henne giving off to Grady, and Grady just moves the pile as he gets out to the 43-yard line. Brandon Mitchell there to make the stop for the Buckeyes. So Michigan doing what they want to do right now, take time off the clock. Let's go back, Bill, and see if we read this right, if it is backwards.
Well, if he throws this and it goes behind where his feet are, that is a backward pass, and that's exactly what happened. That was a backward pass. These officials normally do a great job, but that one got away from him a little bit.
3rd down and 7 now. Ohio State looking for a stopping point. Manningham will go in motion for the Wolverines. Henne is back. and he throws it incomplete. There's a late flag way out in the secondary. The pass intended for Preston. Let's see what the penalty's all about.
Normally when that guy throws it from way back there, he's got holding on the tight end or a tackle. That's what he looks at. That guy standing away here. Here's a call.
Holding. Defense, number 51. 10-yard penalty from the previous.
He can also call holding
first down
on a linebacker like Anthony Schlegel, which is exactly what he did.
Boy, so, that is huge.
Yeah, that's a great big play. Uncharacteristically, Ohio State making mistake after mistake today. They've had 2 turnovers. They had 2 punts that were dropped by Ted Ginn. He might have had sun in his eyes, Gary. You and I noticed that just looking at the sun. Now Schlegel, let's just find Schlegel and see what he's hanging on. Yeah, he's just got a takedown there. He just can't do that in the middle of the field, Anthony. You're going to get caught, son.
That would have been 4th down. Instead, it's 1st down for Michigan at the 47. Henny with a deep drop this time. Going deep. Manningham is there. He comes back and makes the catch. Mario Manningham. 38 yards on the play, 1st and goal. Another freshman impacting this game today.
And a great job of pass protection. This battered offensive line sucking it up and give their quarterback plenty of time to throw the football. And then an amazing adjustment by a true freshman, Mario Manningham. That's the same kid that caught the winning touchdown against Penn State. So he's certainly poised, but you got to give the big fellas credit for that one. And a fine throw by Henny away from the defenders.
As they said, he doesn't know how good he is as a true freshman. Hand off to another freshman. This is Grady. Counts it to the 6. It'll be 2nd and goal there. Laurinaitis, James Laurinaitis, his dad was a pro wrestler, a guy who is from the state of Minnesota. He's the first guy from the Gopher State to come and go on scholarship at Michigan since Sid Gilman back in 1933.
Sid Gilman, I played for Sid Gilman.
Is that an
Sid
amazing?
was a great football coach.
There we go now. 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. 2 receivers, top of the field. Grady is a single running back. Preston will come in motion. Henny being flushed out. Tried to get to the near side, but just got rid of it. He has taken a pretty good shot, as Kudla was the guy that came up and dropped him as he was getting rid of the football.
He was looking for Tyler Ecker. They like that big guy, 6'6", down there in the end zone area. Ecker just covered like a blanket by those linebackers. You know, we talk about Hawk and how he runs so well, and heaven knows he does, but so do the rest of them. They bring Whitner down there as a linebacker from the strong safety when they lose Carpenter.
3rd and goal now from the 6. Manningham, top of the field. Preston in the slot. Avant to the near side. Quarterback draw. Henny lowers his head. And it is going to bring up 4th and goal. Now, this is a big field goal. It's a 6-point game right now. And if you kick this field goal,
huge field goal,
it makes a huge difference in the game.
I like the call. I really do. Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator for Michigan, rather than take another chance and put the ball in the air after Henny ran so well at the other end and scored. Now, again, you got a tough little kick here for a right-footed kicker on the right hash. And I know we talk about this a lot, but it's already had a big impact in this game.
This is a 19-yard attempt. Rivas earlier kicked one from 27 yards out. Garrett Rivas out of Tampa. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And it's a 21-12 game in favor of Michigan. So a team that had trailed 9-0 has fought back. Ohio State has helped them with some miscues along the way, but you got to give Michigan a lot of credit. Henning, who was so disappointed in his performance last year as a freshman, has engineered another drive to get him 3 points. Let's take a look at today's KFC storyline. If Ohio State wins, Penn State loses later today, then the Buckeyes and the Nittany Lions will share the title, but Penn State will get the BCS Bowl. If OSU wins and Penn State loses, Ohio State wins the title, gets the BCS bid. If Michigan wins and Penn State wins the title, and Joe Paterno will get his first BCS bid. And if Michigan wins, I hope you can follow all this, and Penn State loses, you see the scenario there. And that game later in East Lansing starting about 4 o'clock Eastern time. As now, kicking off will be Ross Ryan for the Michigan Wolverines with 7:49 left to go. Gonzalez is back along with Ginn, also Holmes for Ohio State. This Ohio State team has had some remarkable returns, and they're going to kick this short, keep it away. Gonzalez comes up and fields it. So they, what was it? He called it the Pepsi kick. That's what Lloyd Carr called.
Yeah, we used to call it a pooch kick, but it's a very wise kick is what it is. Very wise kick into this wind. You don't kick it down to like the 8-yard line and let those two burners have it on the dead run. Very intelligent.
Last 6 games, Ohio State has outscored their opponents 55-7 in the fourth quarter. I tell you, this Ohio State team really now with a big hole to climb out of. They have 2 timeouts left. Pittman in the backfield from the 33-yard line. Smith will start the drive. Torrey Smith throwing complete to Gonzalez to the 45-40, and that gobbles up a lot of real estate in a hurry. That's a 27-yard pickup on the play. Behringer on the tackle now for Michigan.
Gonzalez is the leader of this football team in the receiving corps. He's just a guy that knows how to get open. He has good speed, not great speed. Crossing pattern against the zone. Got right in the window, and notice what he does as soon as the ball hits his hands. He turns it up the field and maximizes the gain.
Well, he's a smart guy. He's got a 4-point GPA, a pre-law student, making the catch. Here's Smith now. Throwing up the field, intended for Holmes. Badly overthrown as Santonio Holmes, the intended receiver. But further up the field, the safety, Engelman, was closer to the football.
Well, it was badly overthrown because Lamar Woodley was draped on the back of Troy Smith. He was lucky to get it off, and Woodley was all over him, and he forced the deep throw.
I tell you, we have called Woodley a lot today, haven't we? He caused one fumble earlier in the game. 2nd down 10, clock stopped, 7:17 to go.
Remember that play action off the option? We haven't seen that yet, but I guarantee you they've got it.
Smith, quick slant, and behind the intended receiver, incomplete. Big hit put on that time as he tried to connect that time with Roy Hall, and it's going to bring up 3rd down 10. Roy Hall, the real physical receiver, is a 6'3", 240-pounder from Cleveland. That time he had no chance. Ohio State on a 3rd down 10 with 7:14 left. Three wide outs. Gonzalez split to the near side. Troy Smith rolling, buying some time. He's going to run with it to the 40, 35. Excellent move to the 30. A little stutter step, a hesitation move. Got him additional yardage. Sean Crable eventually caught up with him. That's a big scramble for 14 yards.
We've mentioned this several times today. What Ohio State likes to do in these 3rd down situations is get in max protection. Look, see the tight end, Frost is setting up, the O-line's blocking, and then if there's nobody open, as very often is the case in a 2-man route, they say, okay, Troy, how about you running for a 1st down? Looked like he was going to run out of bounds. Michigan misses its 8th tackle on the day, and he just scoots, slips inside, and makes the first. Great individual effort by the quarterback, Troy Smith.
Ohio State still alive in this game. 6:49 left to go. Smith throwing up the field. Holmes makes a catch. Touchdown, Ohio State. And then a late flag.
Well, they're going to flag him for diving in the end zone. I really don't like that call. I really don't. He's going for the goal line. There are 2 tacklers in the vicinity. He dives in there to score, and they're going to call a penalty on him for it. Jim Tressel feels the same way.
26 yards, beautifully engineered by Smith. I mean, Smith threw the ball better on that series than he had thrown all day long. So it's 21-18.
Unsportsmanlike conduct after the touchdown, number 7 on the offense. The touchdown is good. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Well, that's on Ginn, not Holmes.
No, I think he missed the number. I think the think I was looking at what the official was looking at Holmes. He threw the flag when Holmes dove in the end zone, and it's just a poor call.
And so now a big point after by Houston is up. It's good, and we have a 2-point game with 6:40 left to go.
Now Ohio State's going to have to kick off from the 20-yard line. That is huge in this game. They kick. Now watch this here. There are tacklers in the vicinity. He doesn't know that he's not going to be tackled, so he dives and goes in the end zone. And I don't like celebrations. I don't like drawing attention to oneself, but this is not one of those situations.
All of a sudden, it just pop comes to me. I have my cell phone, and I put on the recorder, and I can record my little melody. Okay. And without the phone, the melody would be lost in the sea of no more forever. Right? It's done wonders for my music.
It's time to get out of credit card debt. Hi, I'm Todd Cook for 800 Credit Card Debt. Let's say this $10,000 is your credit card debt. By paying only the minimum payment, it would take you more than 30 years to pay off and cost you thousands of dollars in interest. Or you can call 800 Credit Card Debt to learn about the available options that can eliminate your entire credit card debt, reduce your interest rates, and lower your monthly payments.
My interest rates on all 4 cards were between 22 to 29%. They lowered my interest rates to 4 to 11%.
It went down from 20,000 to 18,000 to 16,000 to 15,000.
At a much faster rate than I could have done myself.
800 Credit Card Debt is the better choice.
Call 800-929-6732 for your free and confidential credit card analysis. Call in the next 5 minutes to see how fast you can get out of debt. Call 800-929-6732.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Nokia. It's more than just a phone, it's your life in there. Nokia. And in part by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it.
So hang on, we've got a football game again as Houston kicking off. Squibber cut up short by Michigan. They'll bring it up to the 35, and Pyle driving his way forward. And the ball came out. It's loose at the 47-yard line. Now Ohio State says it's theirs. No, Michigan has recovered, and they're going to have excellent field position. That was William Paul, a big fullback, the up back, who brought it forward. Paul, a former defensive end, having a tough time hanging on.
Yeah, I guarantee the Buckeyes were thrilled when they saw Paul pick that ball up, and they promptly stripped him of it, although he did make a nice run, but he's a former defensive player, and that's exactly what it looked like. He probably should have let that go through and let Breaston grab that thing and have a chance for a long return, but now they're in great field position.
From the 48, the Michigan 48. That's where they are. Mike Massey now in at fullback. Avant will go in motion for the Wolverines. Preston, top of the field. Henne on a play-action rollout. He dropped it. Massey, I should say. Mike Massey dropped it. Let's go to Dave Ryan.
All right, Gary, thanks a lot. I was on the goal line here when Santonio Holmes dove in a few moments ago. That was a huge call, and the unsportsmanlike by the official. It gave Michigan great field position on that kickoff after the penalty was marked off. Guys, I'm with you, Bill. I totally agree. I don't think he dove on purpose. He didn't do a flip, any kind of intentional showmanship there to try to show up Michigan and get that penalty. He was just trying to get in the end zone. It's a big call.
It's a big call because Michigan then ends up with the ball at the 48-yard line after the kick from the 20. I don't know. I don't like it like you, Bill, the demonstrations, but I don't see it there. Here's Henne back to throw. And this time he'll complete the ball. And a move making the open field by Preston. And Preston to the 40-yard line. That'll be a first down. An 11-yard pickup on the play. Don't forget, this is all over on ESPN. Joe Paterno and the Nittany Lions hook up with Michigan State as they go for their first Big Ten championship since 1994. And bid to the BCS. Huge game coming up from East Lansing. Gonna mark the ball now at just outside the 40-yard line, first down.
In his numbers, 22 out of 32 for 185 yards today.
He's gotten stronger as the game's worn on. A pitch back to Grady. He's going to lose a yard or two. Good reaction that time. Ohio State's Ashton Yebote, the cornerback, flying up, the junior out of Klein, Texas, made the stop. Lost back out to the 42 to bring up second down, about 12 yards to go.
We've got 5 missed tackles by Ohio State today, but Yebote has done a nice job out there at his corner spot. When he's had a chance to make tackles in the open field, he's come up with 5 today, and that's a good day for a corner. They haven't been running outside very much in his direction.
The junior is going to be a special player. He had his first interception last week. Second down, 12. Michigan taking their time, trying to milk the clock as best they can. And now we're going to have a timeout called by the Wolverines as the play clock was winding down. They have 2 left, as does Ohio State.
All right, give me Dopey.
All right, I'll take Sleepy.
I'm gonna take Doc. No, I meant Doc.
Join us in March for ESPN The Weekend at the Walt Disney World Resort. Visit ESPNTheWeekend.com today.
Some beers have a full taste, but are too filling. Some beers are easy to drink, but don't satisfy. Then, there's Budweiser Select. Made from only the finest hand-picked American and Bavarian hops. Budweiser Select is brewed longer for a bold taste that finishes clean. Everybody has their something, but Budweiser Select has it all.
Somewhere there's a dotted line that awaits your signature. Introducing the Walter P. Chrysler Signature Series with features like chromed wheels, no extra charge navigation system on 300, and no extra charge DVD on Town & Country, two-tone leather trim, and Sirius satellite radio. Chrysler Signature Series. Sign up for yours today. During November only, get $1,000 bonus cash that gets you a Chrysler Town & Country LX for under $23,000.
If it can happen, Liberty Mutual's planned for it. We have pre-approved auto repair centers whose work we guarantee as long as you own the car.
At Liberty Mutual, Big Ten alumni save big on home and auto insurance.
If we win this Michigan game, then I'll have to say it's the greatest season of my life, yes.
Woody Hayes, just to refer to Michigan's at school up north. He wouldn't even mention Michigan.
We're not allowed to say the name of the state.
Second down now, almost 12 yards to go. Henny, people at his feet trying to get rid of the ball, just throws it up and out of the field to play. There's a flag, a late flag coming. As Kudla was there, Mike Kudla, we've called him a lot today. He has really put some pressure up front for Ohio State.
Yeah, he has exceeded expectations. He's done a great job. And they really didn't know that Kudla could be a dominating player, but he's done an excellent job. He really spins well, moves constantly toward the quarterback. Good upfield momentum.
See what this penalty flag's all about. Maybe intentional grounding.
Could be either holding or grounding.
It's holding.
And they declined it.
So it'll be now third down and almost 12 to go. This is the stopping point for Ohio State. They're too far away for the field goal attempt. Michigan is. They'd be kicking into the wind. They got to the 30. It'd be about a 47-yarder, and that's where they need to go for the first down. 4 wideouts. Empty backfield. Massey comes in motion. Wide receiver screen to pass. And the freshman not going to get the first down. Marcus Green was able to shoot him down at the 35. So now it's a 4th down coming up for Michigan. Clock running, 4 minutes, 50 seconds left.
If somebody's down, a Michigan player down, I think this is a place where you got to go for the first, unless you think your kicker's just got a rocket leg.
That is Leo Hennigy, who is down, the senior guard, shaken up on the play.
We were talking to our dear friend Jerry Hanlon, the longtime great offensive line coach, and we said, well, what happens if another offensive lineman, with all these multiple injuries up front? He said, not allowed. Cannot. The trainers told him no injuries on the offensive line this week, and yet they continue to struggle. They continue to. This is just a freaky thing. Some years it hits one position and some years another. This year it's the offensive line for Michigan. Too bad.
They always talk about injuries coming in bunches. Now, talking about Jerry Hanlon, I got a kick out of him. He has a device that he has invented. He had you wearing it that day. So when you strike out, you keep your hands together, and it was kind of interesting to watch you work with it.
It's great. Well, it's hilarious to watch me work with it, but I would like to have had that when I was playing, because what it does is it keeps your wrists within certain proximity, a few inches apart, because it sort of binds them together. And it's the inside hands that win with offense and defense these days, when you shoot them to the shoulder pads, and that's what football has become. And he's got a nice teaching technique that he's given to the offensive line, Terry Malone and the other offensive coaches for Michigan.
So Hennigy is shaken up. We'll get back. He'll update his status. 21-19 Michigan.
Somewhere there's a dotted line that awaits your signature. Introducing the Walter P. Chrysler Signature Series with features like chromed wheels, no extra charge navigation system on 300, and no extra charge DVD on Town & Country, two-tone leather trim, and Sirius satellite radio. Chrysler Signature Series. Sign up for yours today. During November only, get $1,000 bonus cash that gets you a Chrysler 300 for under $24 grand.
With the push of a button, I lowered my energy bill. That was too easy.
Nobody's doing more to save you money on your monthly energy bills than the Home Depot. You'll find over 1,800 innovative products, many with the Energy Star label, all designed to save you money. Learn how to lower your energy bills even more at our free November energy clinics and with our online energy savings guide.
At the Home Depot, you can do it. We can help.
Built strong. Built comfortable. Built right. Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans.
You guys have to try it. Friday nights with my best friends. We have one rule. Everyone orders something different.
Now at Olive Garden, new smoked mozzarella chicken, sautéed and topped with melted mozzarella and a sauce of 4 Italian cheeses. At Olive Garden.
Woody Hayes, look at the record he had against the school up north. 16-11-1. Earl Bruce, 5-4. John Cooper, this is something that always plagued John, a good friend of mine. 2-10-1 against Michigan. Jim Tressel was 3-1 coming into today. And then as you go to the Michigan side of the ledger, we'll update you there. Bo, 11-9-1. Of course, he and Woody locked horns so many times through the years. Gary Moeller, 3-1-1 against Ohio State. And then Lloyd Carr, 6-4, but losing 3 of the last 4 previous today. But right now his team on top, 21-19. Hennigy is being carted off the field. And so we'll pick it up. And here's a big play. 4th down coming up, 4 yards to go. Michigan looks like they are going to attempt a field goal. Rivas is in there. Now he's going to be kicking into the wind. And again, the winner gets the BCS bid if Penn State stumbles at Michigan State.
Gary, don't be surprised if they direct snap the ball to Rivas and let him punt the ball. This is something that a lot of teams are doing these days in situations like this where they're not confident of kicking into this kind of wind. You punt the ball down there and hope you can run down there and get it down inside the 10 and try to make Ohio State go the hard, long way.
Now this is going to be a 51-yard attempt. Now his long is a 47-yarder. He's done it 4 times. This will be from 51 yards out. Gutierrez, they snapped it, as you mentioned. Good call, Coach, as the punt to the near side. It didn't really fool Ohio State, but boy, it does a nice job of pinning him back at the 12-yard line. Coach, you have really had that mental telepathy going today.
Mental telepathy. Well, I tell you, you don't have to be very smart to see that that's a good play. And Lloyd Carr is a good football coach. A very wise decision. Rather than miss the field goal and give them the ball way out there with good field position, make them start, I said inside the 10, but the 12-yard line. They're going to have to take on Troy Smith in this really powerful offense. Troy's 20 out of 29 for 223 yards passing with a touchdown with 9 runs for 31 yards. He would like to duplicate his finish of a year ago with this last drive.
Ohio State has 2 timeouts left. They'll start from the 12. Smith from the gun. Fakes a handoff. Rolling. Ted Ginn makes a juggling catch. He's had a couple go through his arms, but he held on. That was a tough catch. Had to change direction. Makes the grab across the 20 to about the 20.5-yard line. Leon Hall defending for Michigan. Stops the clock with 4:02. Brings up second down and a long yard to go.
Look for Michigan to be lining up with some hard corners here to try to keep them from getting to the flat and keep them from getting out of bounds easily. Here it is, cover 2.
Second down, a long yard. Hand off to Pittman, and Pittman has the first down for Ohio State. Able to hammer it out to the 23-yard line. That'll stop the clock as they move the chains. Pierre Woods there to make the stop for the Wolverines. Clock stopped right now at the 3:38 mark.
For football aficionados who care about such things as coverage, they lined up in a cover 2 look, and then they morphed into a cover 3, which does not protect the sidelines, but it was a running play for the first down.
Clock back into play now. Smith with 3 wideouts, 2 to the near side. Smith looking up the field, intended for Gonzalez at the 40-yard line. Pretty good coverage that time. Coming over was a guy we've mentioned a lot, Morgan Trent, the sophomore. He was in the vicinity of the football. It'll bring up a second down now for the Buckeyes.
Yet a nice job by Willis Behringer, the senior, of pulling off. He could have drilled Gonzalez there, and he would have been flagged. He did a nice job, and the temptation is to go ahead and hit the receiver. That's what you're back there to play for. But he pulled off, did not get the foul.
Coming up next, you see it. Huge game of the Big Ten. Penn State against Michigan State in East Lansing. Here is Smith with a half roll. Now able to avoid the tackler, got rid of it. Beautiful play. And the catch is made by Ted Ginn, 11-yarder, but that was a major league athletic play by Smith, avoiding the rush and getting the pass completed.
That, my friend, is what we call a pirouette. If this were in ballet, he would have gotten high marks from his ballet teacher. Look at this. Great poise, right back up, a sidearm throw, a nice adjustment to the football. This time, Ginn does make the play on a throw that was a little behind him to make the first down.
Pierre Woods was the guy that was trying to track him down when he did that pirouette, as Bill mentioned. Here is Smith now, half roll, throws up the field. Ginn makes a one-handed catch and is drilled backwards. They're going to mark his forward progress to the 40. Leon Hall was there. Now, Ginn has made 3 catches on this series, and none of them have been easy to make.
Well, Gary, I think something you mentioned in the break a while ago is what happened again. I think the sun was right in his eyes on those punt situations, and he just couldn't hem the ball up, and now he's doing a great job. Those last 2 throws were behind him. He just reached out and plucked them with one hand, put them away. Nice job by Ted Ginn.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4 at the 40. Clock running, 2.5 minutes now left. Roy Hall is split out now for the Buckeyes this time. Smith throwing, and Santonio Holmes comes up with a grab. He makes the catch. It's a first down, and he got out of bounds, stopped the clock with 2:24. Grant Mason there to make the tackle for Michigan.
A little surprised at the defensive thinking of Jim Herman for Michigan, because they're not depriving Ohio State of that sideline. If you get hard corners, you can't make those throws up in there. Of course, then you have problems down the middle of the field, and maybe that's exactly the reason that Jim knows something that I don't.
Again in the slot, Gonzalez top of the field. Pittman is split out to the near side, along with Holmes. Smith looking to Holmes, makes the catch across the 45 to the 42. Very close to a first down. Let's see where they mark it. Santonio Holmes, who came in here with 9 touchdowns, has 1 today. It is a first down to the 42.
They need to get down to about the 30, Gary, for Josh Houston's range. His longest in his career is 47. He's missed from that distance today.
But he has the wind to his back,
yes,
even though it does swirl there, and it's hard to figure out. First down at the 42. Now Smith's going to go underneath center. As Pittman is his running back. Quarterback draw to the 40. Spins his way to the 37-yard line. A gain of 5. It'll bring up second down. Clock now down to 1:30. Dave Harris making the stop. Harris, the guy who was tied for the tackle leadership at the start of the day out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Second down, 5 yards to go. Clock down to 1:15 now.
Harris is a guy that his coaches say is no nonsense. He's strictly business, serious football player all the time. Really nice open field tackle on the elusive Smith.
They need another 7 yards to set up a 47-yard field goal. Second down, 5-4 wideouts on the play. Smith double pumping and throws it. It's caught by Santonio Holmes. A near interception at the same time. Somehow he came up with it and was able to hang on. First down at the 30-yard line.
He is sick. I thought he was injured, but he wasn't injured. He was just sick, his face down in the grass, because he knew had he stayed on his feet, he's in the end zone.
Tell you what, that was quite a play by Mason coming up. Almost came up with the deflection, if not an interception. Now a timeout is going to be called by Ohio State. They have one left. One timeout left, 47 seconds left to go. And this is the way this rivalry should be.
Guess where they are, Gary. Guess where they are.
Yep, they're close enough for a field goal. It would be a 47-yard attempt. Now, Houston today has not been automatic. He missed a 46-yarder earlier today. After earlier in this ball game, able to hit a 47-yarder and a 25-yarder.
And he missed an extra point.
And he missed. You keep bringing that up, I know.
Well, it's just one of those facts of life. It's not a real factor at this moment, but it could have been.
Well, as I just briefly mentioned, Bill, what else would you expect in this rivalry? But a game that goes right down to the wire. Both these teams playing their guts out, giving it all they have right now. And Ohio State, who led early in this game, 9-0, 12-7.5, then lost the lead, fighting back, and now with a chance to set up what could be a game-winning field goal.
And I mentioned when we started this whole thing, Gary, that every coach and every player would remember this football game for the rest of his life. Well, I believe I will too.
Just a
privilege to be here and watch these two great teams battle it out.
What was it Lloyd Carr said at halftime? You build a legacy. Thrust, the tight end comes set. Smith, 3 wideouts on the play. Pittman in the backfield with it. Smith bouncing around, now he's going to take off. Now throws up the field. He's got a man down there, Gonzalez. He made the catch inside the 5 at the 4. Beautiful grab. Anthony Gonzalez climbed up, came down with it. First and goal now. They're going to mark the ball at the 4-yard line.
All you can say is just absolute magician. I'm talking about Troy Smith. That is one of the most remarkable moves I believe I've ever seen. And then a great throw and a terrific adjustment by Gonzalez to come down with the football on a ball that was thrown slightly behind him. But Troy Smith gets all the credit. He had people in his face. He simply turned, he pirouetted again. And look at this. Look, bounces out. Amazing. That's a good football player. Dave Harris goes to the ground. The ball's thrown up in the air, slightly behind Gonzalez. Goes up, takes the hit, comes down, secures the football. Here's another look. Here's the route. Adjusting, going up the field, bounced out of bounds by the defender. Comes right back inbounds, which means this is a legal catch. A big hit, excellent defense, about as well as it can be played by Grant Mason. This is just a great football game. And now it's down to gut check time. Inside the 5-yard line.
Well, Michigan called a timeout. They're regrouping on the near side. They have one timeout left, as does Ohio State. You got the ball at the 4-yard line. And Bill, with 37 seconds here now, I mean, you got to be awfully careful that you don't mess up a field goal attempt if you can't get this ball in with one timeout left.
Well, I think what you do is you save that timeout. You get the ball in the middle of the field. You run it in if you can score, but you save it down in case of a mishandled snap.
All right, Smith now from the gun. He's going to run it, and Smith pounds it for maybe a yard to the 3. Clock running now with 30 seconds left. It'll bring up 2nd and goal. And now timeout is going to be called by Michigan. So they use their final timeout. And the crowd has gotten very quiet.
Yeah, this crowd is very quiet. And if you're on the Ohio State sideline, you got to just be very, very alert to the fact that you have not won this game yet. Even though your kicker's normally automatic, you haven't won this game. You cannot be careless with the football. All those basics apply right now more than ever.
Let's go down to Dave Ryan. Rhino?
All right, Gary, here on the Ohio State sideline. Josh Houston is getting ready for what could be the biggest kick of his life. Now, keep in mind, Josh Houston has never kicked a game-winning field goal in his career. This is his 6th-year senior. He's been through all the injuries. Missed 1 full season because of a knee problem, 1 full season because of a hip injury. He was Mike Nugent's backup, the Lou Groza winner last year as the best kicker in the nation. He's been loose on the sideline. He looks confident. He looks ready, but he's never faced this situation before, Gary.
Well, and it was interesting. Jim Tressel saying, here's the guy that believed in himself, waited around, a 6th-year senior, due to all that you just alluded to. Medical red shirt. Last April, he got that medical red shirt. He already has his degree and maybe called on to try to win this game. 2nd and goal from the 3. 29 seconds left.
Want to get this in the middle of the field.
Smith and Pittman running forward, and he got in. He just stayed on his feet. So Jim Tressel is now 24 seconds away to be going 4-1 against Michigan. We're talking field goal, but somebody forgot to tackle Pittman.
Well, what a terrific job by Pittman, hanging on to the ball, keeping his feet moving, and just taking it in the end zone to put the matter away for all practical purposes for the Buckeyes. And what a brilliant drive executed by Troy Smith, who once again, 2nd year in a row, dominates the football game.
They're going to go for 2 here. 25-21 is the count, Ohio State. Smith has Pittman in the backfield. Smith double pumping and throws in the back, broken up, and it'll be no good. And it'll now, with 24 seconds left, give Michigan a last gasp effort here. But Troy Smith on that drive showed what a great athlete he is. I mean, his scrambling ability. This is Pittman, though. I thought he was stopped initially, and he just didn't quit, did he?
No, he just hit it up in there, and there were 2 or 3 tacklers on him. I could see Behringer there. Dave Harris was there, and they just got knocked back. And what his coach demanded of him, what Coach Jim Tressel demanded of him, getting toughened up, he has certainly delivered. Another guy, Brandon Engelman, right there with a chance to make the tackle, and none of them able to come down with the tough running back. Here's the 2-point attempt. Nice coverage. Good job to bat that ball down by Morgan Trent.
Now Michigan has no timeouts left as they'll get this kickoff. Houston, who was waiting to possibly kick the game winner, instead now is kicking off after Pittman just would not give up on that run.
He'll kick this thing in the stands. This will go into nickel seats.
Got the wind to his back. So Ohio State team got ahead early, got behind 18-12, fought their way back, and now have the lead again. And he didn't get in the stands, but it was just as effective for the touchback as they bring it out to the 20-yard line. So Michigan, with 24 seconds left, no timeouts left, will start from the 20. And no surprise, let's take a look at today's Nexium player of the game, Troy Smith.
Not hard to pick that, is it?
No, he had, 386 yards in total offense last year, 300 yards in passing this year. I mean, he's been a nemesis for Michigan.
What a great football player he is.
And Gonzalez with that great catch. You see a picture of him. From the 20 now, Henne back to throw. The field, come on, and Makes the catch, first down. Big gain up to the 41. This may not be over yet. With 18 seconds, they're going without a huddle. They'll put the clock back into play as they mark the football.
And Ohio State going with a three-man rush, dropping 8 with a 3 deep coverage.
And Henne spikes the ball to stop the clock with 17 seconds. I'll tell you, that completion gives them a chance.
Oh, yeah, they got a chance. Ohio State will have to badly blow a coverage, but we see that happen every week in college football now. It happens.
Don't forget now, coming up, Penn State. Of course, Penn State now, I'm sure aware of what's happening here, and they need to win. They need to win to get the Big Ten championship in the BCS Bowl. If they would lose, if Ohio State hangs on here, they go to the BCS berth. Second down, 10 yards to go. Henne looking, throwing far side, trying to get out of bounds. No, that was a major mistake by the receiver on that play. Eckler made the catch. He should have tried to get out of bounds. Instead, he is going to be tackled, and the time has expired. Ohio State has won it for the second year in a row. Jim Tressel is 4-1 against Lloyd Carr and the Wolverines. Here, Dave Ryan, let's go to Dave.
Antonio Pittman, you made the sprint to celebrate with your Ohio State fans. How would you best describe that last drive resulting in your touchdown?
It was excellent. You know, Troy, he's a great leader. You know, the offensive line did their job protecting us up front. And we took care of business, you know. We never gave up. We kept on fighting.
How difficult is it to win in this stadium?
Oh, it's very difficult. You know, it's a tough stadium. It's a tough atmosphere, you know, but we came out on top.
Troy Smith was incredible in that last drive. Was this his best performance of the season? How would you evaluate it?
Oh, yeah, this had to be. He came down there and he led us. He wasn't rattled or anything. You know, he kept his composure, and he came and delivered for us.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Antonio Pittman, Gary.
All right, and Pittman, a guy who had 1,100 yards at the start of the day, but let me tell you right now, none better than those last 2 yards.
No, and that was just determined and a great run by a great back.
So our final score, Ohio State defeats Michigan 25-21. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Bill Curry, Dave Ryan, the rest of our ESPN crew, I'm Gary Bender. So long from Ann Arbor, Michigan. This was an instant classic. It re-airs Wednesday at 9 p.m. Now, let's go to East Lansing, Michigan, where Penn State takes on Michigan State. Mike Tirico, Mike Godfrey have the call.
The seismic Saturday that college football had waited for. USC, while Bush's approval rating soared with a Trojan winning streak, come to an end. And the one-loss team waiting to pounce suddenly got wrecked by Tech. And there was one line missing from Joe Paterno's resume, and the Nittany Lions trying to fill it in. College game day final, running toward the end zone now.
College Game Day Final, powered by Pontiac.
So the Hokies got a little help in the ACC. Same situation needed in the Big Ten. Ohio State and Michigan both needed Penn State to stumble. You know, Ohio State and Michigan, it's not really about needing somebody else to win to get a title. You know, as someone said, even when it doesn't mean absolutely everything, it means absolutely everything. As we said on Saturday kickoff this morning, rivalry games, don't win them, get fired. Get a chance to coach like Jim Tressel did. Came in 3-1 against Michigan. Troy Smith, quarterback, goes in. Quarterback keeper, he gutted the Wolverines a year ago. Ohio State missed the PAT. It was 6-0, now 9-0 when Chad Henne took advantage of a turnover, finding Jason Avant. 9-7 game. 12-7 Buckeyes. Smith hit hard by Lamar Woodley. Turnovers really kept Michigan in this game and then gave them the momentum, led to a field goal. Now Michigan on the doorstep. Kevin Grady for the touchdown. They go for 2 and convert. Wolverines with an 18-12 lead. It's 21-12, less than 7 minutes to go. Smith, Santonio Holmes.
What a great job by Santonio Holmes, running that post route, catching the ball, and getting into the end zone at a crucial point of the game.
And now the lead is 2, just over 60 seconds to go. Smith, Holmes across the yellow line. First down, Buckeyes in field goal range. But you know what? They're not going to settle for a field goal. They're going for it all. Here's a game-changing nominee. Smith buying time. The Tony Gonzalez. Anthony Gonzalez inside the 5. Now watch what happened here. Got a little push and went out of bounds. But in college, if you're forced out of bounds and come immediately back into the field of play, you are still eligible. The official right on the call, and Gonzalez makes the catch, putting Ohio State inside the Michigan 5. And later in the drive, under a half minute to go. 2-point game. Carr sweating it out. Antonio Pittman going for the jugular. Touchdown Buckeyes. Ohio State 25-21. They get the victory over Michigan. Tressel now 4-1 against Lloyd Carr. And Ohio State staying in position for an at-large berth in the BCS. Troy Smith, once again, outstanding, throwing for 300 yards in this one after last year, throwing for 241 and running for 145. And it was Troy Smith, once again, that really provided the difference after Ohio State fell behind.
He stepped up and made big plays in this game the entire game long. Some players have certain teams' numbers. Troy Smith has Michigan's number. Right here, look at him. He looks to the left, looks off to the right. Nobody's there. Rolls out of the pocket, calm and cool, makes a play down the field of play. Again, shotgun snap. Looks left, looks center, not there. Now let's make a play. Make something happen. Gets the ball to Tony Gonzalez. Biggest play of the football game. 88 yards on this drive, 12 plays. This was a drive that sealed the game for Ohio State, but it was all because of Troy Smith making plays not only with his arm, but with his legs and with his mind. Decision-making on the run, that was key to this football game for Ohio State.
And Ohio State also coming up with the proper leadership. Looked like a dire situation when they were down 2 scores under 7 minutes to go in the Big House.
Hey, you're down by 2 scores, 7 minutes to go. You're away from home. Michigan has all the momentum. They're playing excellent, and yet Ohio State kept their poise. Let's give an awful lot of credit to Jim Tressel for his demeanor on the sideline, but also the great leadership of that football team. Yeah, Troy Smith made some great plays. The catch by Gonzalez was absolutely great. But it was just their composure, and to be on the road and do that, hey, that is impressive, Mark.
It was in a tough environment like that, but certain players, like I mentioned before, you've got a team's number. He's got the confidence now. He can play Michigan anywhere. Right now, Lloyd Carr, he's at home. Somebody says Troy Smith. Troy Smith. Troy Smith.
Hey, I want to tell you right now.
He's got a twitch.
Hey,
little post-traumatic syndrome for dealing with
He's
Troy
got nightmares
Smith.
about him.
They're going to tape his show, and they're going to play before the Ohio State game next year. They're going to say, this is what Mark May thinks.
Then he'll throw for 300 and rush for another.
A little motivational point from the master motivator. So Ohio State clinched a share of the Big Ten title on paper, but then needed a little bit of help from Michigan.
Coming up on Michigan Replay, the Buckeyes turn the tables on Michigan and hand the Wolverines a tough loss. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet one of the steadiest Wolverines at catching passes, who's also a co-captain. And we'll have a chance to reflect back on quite a season and project ahead to the holidays. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Sirius Satellite Radio. By State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. And by Chevrolet. Chevy drives the Motor City. See your Detroit area Chevy dealers today or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Michigan Replay. A tough one today. Wolverines lose on Saturday to Ohio State 25-21. Lloyd, a difficult, disappointing loss, but really reflection of a lot of what the season you went through. A lot of injuries and opportunities that were there that Michigan couldn't make good on. Like getting 3 instead of 6 would have made the difference in a game.
Well, there's a lot of ways we could have won that game, Jim, and certainly for all of us, it's a great disappointment. But I'm very proud of the guys on this football team. They fought hard all year. They never stopped fighting. And I'll always be proud of that.
And the fact is you can be proud of those kids because a lot of them were forced into playing different positions in different spots because of injuries, and they all went in there and gave everything they had.
Well, I think during the course of the season, we had a lot of guys that were in backup roles that stepped up, got a lot of experience. It's still, in many ways, a young football team. But what I liked is the leadership. The seniors on this team did a great job.
One of the things that's tough is to talk about a game that should have, could have, would have, but again, it was one of those things that reflects the season. Here you are, their first possession,
3rd and long, and they get a big play to get out of trouble. Yeah, we had an opportunity there to get them off the field, and we didn't get quite a depth that we needed on the pass defense, and they picked up a 1st down and put together a good drive here. We wanted to get off to a fast start in this game, and we certainly did not do that. And this bounce play here early hurt you. Yeah, you kind of got that under control later on in the game. Yes, we did. We adjusted well, and but Pittman's a good back, and he did a good job here. We've got a guy that doesn't take his gap, and of course Smith finds the opening there to put him on the board. They missed the extra point. It's 6-0. This is your first possession. This is a big 3rd down conversion. You go to Manningham to get that one. Then you come back and hit your tight end for another big 3rd down. Well, we needed a drive here because we had the ball at the short end of the field, and certainly we didn't want to turn it right back over to him. And we put together a good drive. I thought our protection for the most part was very good in this game. 4th and 1, you go for it down there. Just thought you had an opportunity to do it, wanted to set the tone? Well, Jim, we had a run-pass check call there, and they ganged up, and we had a pass that we thought was a high percentage play, and we just didn't get it executed. So they've got the ball with a 6-0 lead. They hit Gonzalez, and then they get down there and they hit a pass to their tight end. Well, we make a good tackle here, Brandon Engelman, and our defense stiffens here. And now we're 9 down in the 1st quarter, and we've got to do something offensively. One of the things that happened is there were chances again to get it where you kick the ball and they muff 2 kicks, and you aren't able to get them. Well, here, unfortunately, we did nothing with the ball. We had a holding penalty there that stopped the drive. But our kicking game, our kick coverage was outstanding in this game. One of the things we thought was a key to the game, and Mike Massey, the young sophomore there, made a big tackle so that we've got decent field position. And then Gabe Watson and Pierre Woods knocked the ball loose. Gabe gets it, and our defense has created a great opportunity for us in the red zone. Just the opportunity you needed. You get a 1st down play here on a 3rd and 5 to Preston. A big completion because it keeps the drive alive. We're into the wind here in the 2nd quarter again. And then Manningham makes a nice play here on his own down the sideline. Well, we've got the ball down inside the 10-yard line. A good play by Mario. And we need a play here. And on 1st down, we did a good great catch by Jason Avon. Chad threw it away from the defender, and this guy's athletic enough that he could make a 360-degree turn. That makes it a 9-7 game. Ohio State gets the ball back, and they get Ginn involved in the game. Well, right here, Troy Smith makes a great play. We've got him, we got pressure on him. His receivers are covered, but he scrambles out, makes a play. And here's a big stop by Prescott Burgess on the option. And this is a really big stop in this game at this point because now we're only down 12-7 at the half. And that's at the point where Ohio State's moved the ball pretty well on you, and your offense is having trouble running the football. So being down 12-7, you've probably got to go in at halftime and say, you know, we get the ball back at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. You're not feeling too bad about your position. Well, you know, we struggled. We did not run the football well all day long, but we did have good pass protection. And so I felt very good at the half. I felt like we could move the ball throwing it. I thought our defense had played better after the 1st drive, and then we were doing a great job in the kicking game. All right, we'll be back and take a look at this 2nd half, but first we hear from Mark Beal, who says, just like all of us, Michigan lost it because you can't miss good opportunities.
The definitely way we played, you know, we played hard, but, you know, you got to win. You know, you'd rather play bad than win than play good and lose, and, you know, we just didn't play like we should have. You know, we played hard enough. We just didn't capitalize on opportunities given to us.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
You contain them for the most part. You know, you got the yardage and everything like that. We miss crucial tackles. That can hurt you in a situation like that. So, you know, we fought hard though. I mean, not disappointed. None of the guys in here. I mean, we some warriors, and we kept fighting this whole season. People didn't give us a chance, So I'm proud of everybody. I'm just sad, man. That on my last one, I didn't get the win for the team.
It's tough in that locker room after a loss to Ohio State, but the Wolverines at halftime of the game against Ohio State Saturday were down 12-7, and yet you come out early in the third quarter and things start going your way because you get the turnover that you needed.
Well, we do a big play here by Lamar Woodley. Knocks the ball loose, and Alan Branch comes up with it. We get great field position, and the momentum of the game changed here for us.
And you get a great pass here. Great protection allows Tim Massaquoi to make this catch.
Well, it is great protection, and Tim gets, we're moving down inside with a first down. And unfortunately, Jim, we left too many of those touchdown opportunities on the board. Here, Garrett Rivas knocks through a field goal, and now it's a 2-point game. But we missed an opportunity there.
Right, 12-10 at this point. They have a 3rd and 8 here, and this is where your defense, I thought, really looked great. You're just flying.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys hustling the ball. Leon Hall finally gets him wrapped up. A good pursuit and a good call forced the punt.
And here are those bounces that don't go your way when they muff a punt.
Unbelievable. 2 of these, the ball comes loose, and it goes past the punt return guy. We can't seem to come up with the ball, but we did have great field position as a result.
Right. Then you force them on that possession to a 3-and-out. They're kicking into the wind, and they get a poor punt, give you great field position.
Well, here we go again, and we're at the 37-yard line. You couldn't ask for better field position.
Yep, and you go right to the air, and you get a great play here from Steve Breston to get the first down.
Well, again, Jim, I think the key was, for the most part, we had great protection. Chad made excellent reads all day long, and Steve Breston caught the football very well, got up the field, and then on a quick cadence there, we get the ball, and Kevin bounces it outside for the touchdown, and we convert a 2-point play, which puts us up 6 points.
Yes, it does, 18-12 at this point. And here's a great play and a great tackle there by Grant and Mason on a 3rd and 8. You forced them to go for a long field goal.
Well, time is winding down here, and certainly that was, at the time, a great stop for our defense, a great tackle by Grant Mason.
And here on the 38, you roll the dice on a 4th down and go for it with a sneak and get it.
Well, Jim, we talked all week long about playing to win, and it was a gamble, certainly, but worked. And here we come up with a big play. Great pass protection against the coverage. Chad fits the ball where the defense isn't. Mario makes an outstanding catch.
Problem is, again, you can't get in the end zone.
No, we had to settle again for a field goal, but now we're up 2 scores to go with about 5 minutes to go in the game.
Right, and the thing is, they score too quickly probably on this next possession. They go right to the air.
Well, it's that kind of game. Now here, we get caught up in a run fake, and they get a 20-yard gain there, which is too much in that situation.
This is one of those plays that Troy Smith makes. And 3rd down and 10, he gets 14.
Well, if we miss a tackle there, we let him outside, and if we could have got the tackle there, it would have been 4th and 5. But instead, Smith made a great play. And then here, our safety gets outside too far, and we certainly gave up the touchdown too quickly there, Jim. We didn't force him to use enough of the clock.
And that makes it 21-19. And here again, wonderful play again by Smith as he gets out of trouble on a 2nd and 10 for 11 yards.
Just a great athletic play that he made, and here's another one. Here is maybe the biggest play of the game. When we're in good position, we just miss him.
And this is a little controversial because Gonzalez, the receiver, actually, it appears, runs out of bounds. The referee's hat is down on the ground. He can't be the first one to touch it, but he rules he was forced out.
Well, I think it's more than controversial. I think it's an absolutely bad call. This play should have come back because the rule is explicit. You must be forced out of bounds by the defender, and it's obvious that he wasn't.
They come back with Pittman here, and they get into the end zone, and they get the conversion for a 25-21 lead at that point, and you only have about 20-some seconds left, and at that point, this one's over. And one of those things where you look at this game and you say missed opportunities and all that, and yet a lot of your kids got injured, and you played all year with kind of a, how do you call it, patchwork quilt lineup.
Well, Jim, I think, you have to give Ohio State credit. We had them down 2 scores with 5 minutes to go, and we couldn't make a play, and certainly they made the plays they needed to make.
And the one thing, I think their defense is all that was advertised. They can run and get to the football.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They've been outstanding from the very first part of the season, and they're an outstanding defensive football team.
One of the things about the game, we talked about it, is the inability to be able to run the football. And you talked about it after the game a little bit, that was a concern of yours and a problem. And as the game goes, being able to put it away with that lead, not being able to run, really hurt.
Well, and we did a good job throwing the football today, and I was very, very pleased the way we protected the passer. But any time you can't run at all, which was really what happened to us in this game, then you got to have a hard time. You leave your defense out there. You don't use enough clock.
And on the goal line, that running game, a power running game, really could help you.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the problems with it. And the Wolverines couldn't run against a very good Ohio State defense, and the ending score was 25-21 Ohio State. Don't go away. When we come back, we've got more. But first, we'll hear from Lamar Woodley, who says on defense, you cannot miss tackles against good teams.
We did a good job containing them, but we had to put more pressure on the quarterback and, wrap up when we tackle. We missed a lot of tackles out there, and when we missed tackle, they gained more yards.
He's been good since he came to Michigan, steady and solid on every play. Wide receiver Jason Avant is a young man you can count on. He came to Ann Arbor from Chicago, from the same high school that sent Kazzie Russell to Michigan. Like Kazzie, he leaves quite a legacy. You need a tough catch? Jason will make it.
And he's got wide open Jason Avant. What a catch! One-handed by Jason Avant. Touchdown, Michigan!
It just goes out, not giving up for a ball. That's all it is. If I'd have given up on it, wish I'd have saw it thrown over my head. I never would have made the catch, but just going out and giving a little extra effort. If you go out and play hard every time, this stuff's gonna happen.
You need him to play without the ball and make a tough block. Jason will do that too, and he likes it just as much.
15, 10, 5, touchdown, Michigan. They've got the lead. Let me tell you what, Steve Preston doesn't get that done unless he gets 2 blocks out there at the point of attack.
It feels better than making the catch, After that game and he broke that, I felt like I had like 10 catches after that. But I had way less than that. But it felt really good. That's how I felt. It was pretty excited to see one of my teammates go down because of a couple guys blocking.
You need a leader? Well, that's right up Jason's alley. He'll accept the responsibility of being a captain, and he'll take the ups and downs of the job in stride while getting better at it each and every day.
I'm gonna promise y'all this week I'm gonna play with everything that I got in practice so we can get ready to win this game. Y'all ready to go? I'm ready to play.
I never really even thought about being captain. I was trying to get on the field. When I first got in, trying to help my team win, and just work and work and work. And I guess some of the team seeing my work ethic, and I was named captain. It's a great honor, and this is a learning experience, and I learned so much from Coach Carr. And the things that he tells me, and the decisions that I make, you got to be mindful that you're representing the whole 105, guys, and not only the 105, but the coaching staff too. So that's the hardest part to put those guys in the front of your mind when you're saying or whatever you're doing.
Do you need someone to tell you how important Michigan has been to them? Well, you need look no further than Jason Avant.
And he's going to throw a fade right corner of the end zone. Avant up in the air. He's got it over the top of Ashton Watson. Touchdown, Michigan.
It matures you as a man. The responsibility that you have, the discipline that the game teaches you, and not only that, the coaching staff here teaches you. It matures you, and it's no room to feel sorry for yourself. You know, and that's one of the biggest things that you can learn as a man. No room, no matter how bad your situation is. You look bad. You feel sorry for yourself. It's only going to get worse.
Jason Avant, one of the kids that you talked about, the leadership of this group at 3-3 when you got going on that run right before Ohio State, that kid was one of those kids that stood up.
Unbelievable guy. And I think the beautiful thing about Jason is that he came here. Eric Campbell, who's a great football coach and a great man, has done a great job. But the credit goes to Jason because he was always willing to listen. He always was hungry to learn. He always thought he could get better. He never felt he arrived. And here we are 4 seasons late, and he's had an incredible career.
And he's a kid that played with a guy like Braylon Edwards, and yet he still played hard. Every catch, every play, Jason was out there.
No, he just was a complete team guy, a selfless guy, willing to play with or without the football, and he's good at both.
That's worth his weight in gold, Jason Avant. And this Michigan football team will be honored at the annual football bust, and you are all more than welcome to show up at the Laurel Manor in Livonia and honor this football team after what they've gone through this year, an outstanding season given their injury situation. For ticket information, call 1-800-847-4764. Jamie Morris will be this year's Master of Ceremonies. It's Monday, November 28th. Make sure you get your tickets. When we come back, Lloyd and I will talk about what it looks like down the road for the holidays. But first, we hear from Chad Henne. Talks about it's about finishing.
It was in our hands, and we were putting ourselves in that position, and just didn't finish. And that was the whole goal this whole season, just finishing. And we just didn't finish.
Michigan Replay takes you inside the locker room.
It hurts to lose in our last game at home. And I mean, to lose like that, man, it's just disappointment is understatement.
Well, there's a disappointment clearly in the Michigan locker room and all through the Michigan football program. But, you know, with a 7-4 record, you're going to be out there somewhere for the holidays. Any ideas, anything, what you've heard that's going on around the Big Ten?
Well, Jim, I think a lot of it will come down to the question of whether or not Ohio State gets selected for the BCS. I would think there's a great chance for that.
Along with Penn State, so 2 Big Ten teams.
I think there's a good chance of that. But I think it's all speculation. The Bulls, there's so many people that are going to weigh in on it. There's so many things going on behind closed doors still, because it's still, there's a lot of room for the Bulls to make choices. And, of course, TV's going to have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, and what about, is it giving you a chance for your guys to get healthy, or are you going to still be, when you get into whatever bowl game it is, you're going to still be kind of patchwork with some of the players?
Well, I think we're going to lose Jake Long. We're going to lose Leo Hennigy. And whether we got to see how Tim Massaquoi comes back, and certainly Michael Hart. I think certainly coming out of that game, what I know right now, most of the other guys will have time to get healed up.
Well, we hope they get healed. Lloyd, great year, really. Given the situation that happened, that's a darn good job by you and the staff.
Well,
I mean that.
That's nice of you to say that.
I know
Jim.
you're disappointed. I am too, but coming back from 3-3 and get to Ohio State and putting them on the clock like that was a good year.
Well, we got great kids here.
Yeah,
that's the key.
And we got great viewers, and then we know you'll be back next week to watch us because we got another Michigan Replay show coming your way. So be here, same time, same place for Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by Pepsi. It's the Cola. By Chevrolet. Chevy drives the Motor City. See your Detroit area Chevy dealers today or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. By LaSalle Bank. Proud to support the University of Michigan football programs. LaSalle Bank, making more possible. And by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.